we've screwed up a lot of names in the podcast. I Benoit LeBlanc was probably the funniest one I think we've had so far.
I don't know. You misnaming Snape every opportunity you could is pretty funny
Yeah,
as well.
I was gonna say
Snape?
a bit of a stretch there for saying we.
Snape?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cerberus.
Severus Snape from Harry Potter.
Cerberus Snape. That's what I said though. I'm lost.
Mm,
I,
nope.
in the Harry Potter character breakdown, you called Snape, I think, three different things.
Yeah.
I still don't actually believe you. I'll have to actually go back and listen to
Oh,
that.
have fun with that.
But you're still right. Crimson with his LeBlanc in the coverage.
It just fits. It sounds way better
I
than
suppose
Blanc.
so. It got to the point where I was going back and forth, and you got me to say it.
I think I got each of you to slip up once. You
I
Sinister and
just gave
Raven.
up halfway through Glass Onion and called him LeBlanc.
Just fits so well.
Well,
Hello,
his
everybody,
oh,
and welcome back to the Cheap Seat Critics podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Geeky Writer.
I'm Crimson
and
Maroon.
I'm Sprinks, and hey, this is the season 24 Bam 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 recap. Hey, if you're
Oh.
interested in like I don't know whatever shenanigans we're up to, I guess you can find us on here's the list: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X, or whatever that is. Blue Sky. Hey, we got Letterbox where we kind of like average out our numbers and graphs of everything we've covered and put it all there for visual. And then in recap, we go over them and show them visually on YouTube and Rumble. But hey, maybe you're not a visual person. Maybe you're not a visual learner, and you're like, can you tell me it? I want to just like listen while I'm doing other things. No, no, don't fret. Totally obtainable. We got tons of audio platforms out there where you can just tune in, listen to the pod while you're doing miscellaneous tasks. I think that's it.
Yeah, we're the best
And
being heard while doing laundry, I've heard.
Ooh.
that's funny. I've listened to us doing laundry before as well.
There
Oh,
you
so
go.
so the recommendation came in from Ryder. Cool.
News to me.
I
Just
didn't
a
write
back
that,
door
but
from
I
now.
just find it funny that I agree with that because I happen
Oh,
to have done that
little
before.
detective work, huh? Crimson's news to him in his statement, meaning we've had two recommendations then of people listening while doing laundry. Huh.
Wow.
Oh, detective work. Why did you bring that up, Springs?
Um, I don't know. I don't have a clue. It's not
Nice
like we're
one.
doing a Scooby Doo season. All right. No, very detective centric. I think real murder mystery centric season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
I'd
there
All
say
right.
anything?
that's what we were going for.
I'm like, did we cover anything in here that didn't have a murder mystery?
Um, we kind of, or at least I brought up in Sherlock Holmes, the first one, there wasn't really much of a murder mystery. It's more of like how he's
General.
getting around doing
Yeah.
stuff thing,
Black
because we know
magic.
who the killer is.
Yeah.
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 Sherlock Holmes and Sherlock Holmes 2, I wouldn't classify necessarily as murder mysteries. They're more like broad stroke grand mysteries that you have to kind of solve.
I think I would consider the first one more of a murder mystery than Game of Shadows.
Yeah,
Because
I
the
would
first one's
agree with
actually
that.
having people
If we're
dying and trying to solve.
yeah, yeah, if we're comparing, then yes, technically I would say Sherlock Holmes 2008 is or 2009.
There you go.
2010?
2009.
One of the two. Yeah, I knew the year didn't sound right. But yeah, I would also classify that one technically more as a murder mystery, though it's not necessarily the murders themselves that's the crux of the mystery. The same would be said for Sherlock Holmes too. There are assassination attempts and there are people like trying there are people who die, but it's not necessarily the murders that are the crux of the mystery. They're just kind of one of the driving beats.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the revolutionary guy, he died, but not much of a mystery on that one.
I wonder who did it.
There are all those like Parliament dudes or whatever that got blown up by the cake. Not much
Yeah,
of a mystery.
they were actually all businessmen.
Well, remember, we had to figure out how the bullet got in and then the bullet tracking to the space, how that worked and functioned. I think we concluded
Uh,
that it didn't.
I think we concluded that Magneto tried to change the curve of the bullet.
Oh, in Sherlock Holmes or in Who Done It? Because I feel like that
Oh.
came up as well.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
that's
that, I went back on Who Done It to fact check writer's statement about the layout of the building.
Oh, with the slingshot bullet.
Yes, because in his final ratings, he posed that there were 3 like definitively not realistic kills.
no, I said 4, but
Well, so you said 3 definitive and a 4 like waiver, like debatable one. But I did go back. I watched the pilot and the final episode because you had it in the first and the final episode. They revisited the window for the code, and then I saw the tour video that they put out of Giles giving a tour of the mansion, the manor, and it was all lined up properly. The clue was given in the library, and they went into the billiards rooms, which is with the bar, which is across the way from the tank. So it did line up straight.
So the bullet that the window the bullet
The
went
window was
through was in the
across from
parlor and not the library.
correct.
Okay, then yeah, that
cool.
lines up. So boom,
Then
now it's
that
3 for Ryder.
no, Whodunit was at 3.5. It would be at a 4.
He's
No,
talking
I
about
meant the kills.
dead
You said 4, and
deaths
now
or
it's down to
whatever.
3.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay, then yeah. Um,
Well,
they
good to
yeah,
read.
then that changes it from, impossible to improbable, which is better.
Yeah, I mean, still a heck of a shot.
Yeah.
That's-
I and yeah, so
But
I
hey,
don't
whoa,
have
whoa,
any
her dad's a
I
cop.
have less issues with it, so,
Dad's a
yeah.
cop.
Yeah, yeah, her dad's a cop. And she knows her way around guns, which doesn't mean anything about slingshots, but hey, what do
Her dad's a cop. That's the excuse.
Yeah.
They only have to say it about 3 times.
Mhm.
At least she says it to different people.
Yeah, but the camera's like, oh, we got to make sure we remind the audience about this. It's important.
Fine. They have to edit together like it was a grand plan by the end, so
Yeah. Any Hoosers, we got recap stuff. So we got like the general questions, we got the segment, we got the critics on critics, we got I don't know, other questions.
Post
Blanking on
poll
anything.
perspectives.
Oh, post perspective. How could I forget about that?
I don't know how you possibly could forget.
I don't know. We got a wheel spin. What should we start with?
we got a
Packed
lot to do today.
recap.
Got a lot to do today,
Quite the
so
agenda.
we should probably just jump right into it, like general questions.
General
I think.
questions?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do. We usually break up general questions to break up things, so we'll do a couple general questions, then move on to a game of some sort.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a writer brought it up. Why don't you let her rip?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Favorite character this season, Crimson, since you know.
So since I exist, I can.
Yeah,
can
exactly.
bring it up.
you get to go first.
Oh wow, we have this one's kind of tough because we have quite the cast of characters across all these.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
Murder by Death.
mine's surprisingly pretty easy. So if you really need time, I can go.
It's crazy. The
Yeah, it's probably best if you go.
Favorite's
All right.
I think tougher, but least favorite I think is way easier.
Yeah. My favorite's obviously Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock. I have a lot of subjective love for those films. I still do, and just a hell of an actor, and definitely did one of my favorite versions of Sherlock, for sure.
Righto.
I'm
All right, Crimson,
too
time's up.
surprised. Oh, okay.
He did give you some time. He wasn't lying.
Well, I mean, I want some time. That's true. And it's Giles from Whodunit. That's not true. He's not my favorite character. It's gonna be Whodunit, and I think I'm gonna go with Wang, Detective
Who done it?
Wang.
You mean Murder by Death?
I think he
I-
means murder by death. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Didn't I joke? Did the Giles bit come in?
Yeah.
The Giles bit came in,
And then you
you
said,
"But
I'm
gonna
gonna
go
choose
with
someone
whodunit."
from Who Done It.
Oh, well then yeah, Murder by Death, Detective Wang.
Detective Wayne.
A problematic character today, but I enjoy him nonetheless. I like his comedy in it.
Yeah.
A lot of
What
his
I
metaphors.
surprisingly, what I liked most about Murder by Death is how they managed to keep the detectives consistent with what like their quote unquote genre they're from. So like detective women having a really, really good sense of smell is something they kept consistent through the film. That's one of the surprising bits I found I enjoyed about the movie.
Mm, Yeah, I would agree with that. We didn't talk too much about how they stepped out of character, except I think Sprink said, I'm blanking on his name, the Belgie kind of stepped out of character at one
Yeah,
point.
there was a point
with
where
the
he's
stupidity.
observant about so many details, but he misses the phone cord.
Yeah. But I think other than that,
So
we all kind of stood by that they were pretty consistent
yeah,
with themselves.
and also very
Mhm.
distinct. None of them were the
Yes.
same kind of thing. So really made them stand out more.
Mhm.
It is because of that Murder by Death, our podcast. I got a before we go to you Springs. I had an algorithm recommendation, so now I get a daily Columbo picture
Ooh,
for some reason.
Peter Falk,
how cool!
uh, favorite
Grandpa Princess.
characters, Brinks.
Yeah, it's probably it's gonna be Wadsworth from Clue.
That's
I'm not
fair.
surprised in the least on that either.
Yeah, I was thinking it over, and Sherlock, RDJ Sherlock is also really good, but uh,
Wadsworth is more your style of slightly chaotic,
yeah,
Slightly.
just
slightly
him just going over
chaotic.
like, let me show you how you do it, running across the whole manor. Yeah,
Got a fair bit of whimsy in that.
that's true.
I
Indeed.
guess the next obvious question is well, okay, we'll do two. I guess
Ooh,
least favorite character. Uh, we'll do least favorite character straight up, and then we'll do for my personal entertainment least favorite character from Knives Out. From the two
all right.
movies.
Can you
Well, they
define
might line
character?
up. Who done it? I think
I
counts.
Okay.
So I would say they're kind of caricatures of themselves to
yeah,
some
we'll do
degree.
so we'll do least favorite character overall, and then we'll do least favorite character from the Ryan Johnson Who Done It duology.
Duology.
Yeah, so
All
far
right.
until Wake Up Dead Man
So
comes out.
far. Yeah. Sprinks, why don't you go first? Since you seemed raring to go.
Yeah, Adrena from Who Done It.
Dude, I love that you hate her so much that
Adrena was the
never
one
you
that
never give her the respect of saying her name properly. You
Is it
yeah,
Adriana?
So
Adriana.
Adriana was the one that blew up, right?
Yeah, in the golf cart.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were very delighted in chat that happened. I was
I
annoyed with her, so I definitely share some of your sentiment.
Yeah,
I don't know if I hated her that much.
our little React timestamp stuff in the chat. I just put in the Spider-Man 3 after defeating Sandman. Good riddance.
Good riddance. Yeah.
I'll go next, so to give Crimson some more time. Unfortunately, I can't pick every character in Rob Downey. In Ryan Johnson's duology of murder mystery, but I'm gonna go with the. I already forgot her name, which tells you how much I care about her.
The main one?
The
Marta?
main character in Glass Onion.
Oh,
Helen.
Helen sounds right. Yeah.
this is why I got notes. Let me take a
Yeah.
look.
So trying to avoid looking at my notes for this for some reason. But
That's
yeah,
okay. Gotcha.
it's Helen and somebody else. It's Helen and because she's
Yeah.
playing her sister or
I
whatever.
think
Andy.
I think Hel
Helen and Andy. Yeah, they're both collectively stuffed together.
Don't.
They're both freaking terrible, and I hated them.
Andy was the dead one. I think Helen was the sister.
I don't think Helen's the right
Yeah.
word or right name.
Do you
No,
have it?
I'm looking.
I feel like it was Helen.
Helen's the right name.
I don't know.
Okay, he can go verify it for himself.
That's not a bad choice, Helen.
Sorry, it's
It's
hard to
tough.
get over the burning of the Mona Lisa. I don't really.
That's true. That is true. Ooh, did you just sway me with that? Because I didn't even think about that part. It's blowing up the house.
Yeah. I mean,
Got
my
it.
thing is what makes the characters so insufferable in Ryan Johnson's work is that he tries to make them likable, but he just fails to do that, which is kind of why I detest them. Because it's like they're trying too hard to make me like the character.
Sprinks, you said you found it?
Yeah, check out my notes. It is Helen and Andy.
Okay. And then I am surprised I remembered. I might be leaning Helen as well. I was originally thinking Sasha from Whodunit, but I think Helen probably takes it from her.
My thing with whodunit is like I again for me I'm using characters, so while you can apply that to them technically speaking, I don't. um, and then I guess least favorite characters from the Ryan Johnson duology, because I'm sure you both got one.
Well, I guess my answer is Helen.
Hmm.
Well, Sprinks is
Thinking.
because Ryder already gave it as Helen.
Okay, well, there's a
I
mix
mean,
of characters.
yeah, I would say Helen overall, but I can pick another one.
Because in Knives Out, there weren't really many insufferable characters in that at all. I mean, the little Nazi kid maybe, but that was
That
barely
was it.
had a
Jacob.
presence at
All right, he had
all.
nothing.
Um,
I
I'd probably pick
just
Miles Braun after Helen.
I
Miles, yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with Detective Lieutenant Elliot.
You know, that ain't
Yeah,
half
he's
bad.
a dum dum.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
weak
He's probably
sauce.
would be my
it's weak
third. He'd probably
sauce.
be my third. Yeah, he'd probably be my third choice. Yeah.
Not a good
For sure.
detective.
Not even a good policeman. I can't even
No.
give him the label
I'm
detective.
like, I'll give Trooper Wagner more over him because Trooper Wagner was actually informative about books.
I mean,
He
we all.
displayed more knowledge to the case than Detective Elliot did.
I mean, it wasn't relevant information to the case, though. It's just like, insight to nothing, really. We didn't need to know the statues were related to the book or the door to the window wasn't. We agreed that Wagner was removable if we gave that uh, window door line to Marta or someone else. So we put it on Marta. So, but yeah, I mean, Elliot didn't contribute much other than being an idiot. So.
Yeah, he was there to just raise Blanc's intelligence in his
I think we have to say
wording.
try to attempt to raise Flux intelligence.
Yeah.
When you have to tear down a character to prop up another instead of just raising the character more naturally.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was a tool. So yeah, that's my answer.
Fair enough.
Well, I guess if we're still in general questions, let's go with most surprised rating.
Oh boy.
And there, I'm sure I'm probably gonna get one flung my way. But I will probe Ryder on this one. You did talk about your subjective with whodunit being even best day without drinking or without watching with friends, a game show or reality TV would likely never go past 3.5. And I'm kind of curious to dive into why the disdain for both of those types of media, I guess.
Oh, I just find them boring and asinine. It's very personal. I wish I could say more than that. I mean, I could probably go in depth. It's just none of them ever pulled me in. There's only one uh episode of there was like a Nickelodeon game show where you get uh
There.
slimed at the end or whatever.
Brain Surge.
Yeah, Brain Surge. I liked one episode of Brain Surge, and the only reason I really really liked that one episode is because my friend starred in it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, good friend. We went to we were best friends growing up, so it was that was the only episode of that show that I really went out of my way to watch, and I really loved that. But I loved it because of he was in it, not because I guess I enjoyed the show or whatever. Um, and then I guess around that, it's just reality shows always drag me into like the Kardashians. It's for me, it's like every reality show road leads you to the Kardashians. That's kind of what I feel like whenever I see a reality show. Um, and then for game shows, I do like Wipeout, but again, I usually drink that. I have drinks with that, and I also watch it in good company. Um,
So at its core, for reality TV, you said it was asinine earlier. You brought up Kardashians. Is it like drummed up drama that feels fake, or like what elements of, I guess, the Kardashians that's used that is like the turnoff, I guess?
the
Because I think we can all agree
personalities.
Kardashians suck, but so it comes down to the
I
people they choose, or
usually, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I don't watch the genre enough to really give you an answer. That's the other part of this. I don't really go out of my way to watch the genres, and what I've seen of the genres, I just have zero interest, and I don't like what I've seen. So
I
I
can
would
get
much
behind
rather
that.
watch a. I would much rather watch a. Uh, I would rather watch personally like a really bad like dramatic show over Who Done It. I'm not saying I would like. I'm not saying I would enjoy something like Velma more than Who Done It. But if I have a preference to watch something, it's probably going to be Velma over something like Whodunit.
Wow.
Because
It's,
I don't go out of my way to watch game shows and reality shows. It's just not they're just not stuff I'm interested in.
Ryder, how do you feel about America's Funniest Videos?
probably hasn't
Liked it
seen
as a kid. Stopped liking it after I was 10.
Okay. Just curious on where that vein of show fits.
Um,
Because it's
I don't
not
even know what
I
that's
en-
called.
necessarily
yeah,
reality or game show.
I enjoyed the late night show host bit. I enjoyed the comedic bits around it, right? I didn't necessarily enjoy the. Uh, I mean, I liked it when I did. I just stopped watching it because it just stopped being funny to me.
Okay. Okay.
Then, since I kind of probed the reality TV a bit more, the game show aspect, that one's a little bit more surprising to me because I could understand reality TV not jiving with someone, but game shows I feel is like it's so like universal neutral to people. Like there's so many different kinds of game shows. You have something like Who Done It, or you got like trivia games like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You got Wipeout, which is more physical competitions. You got like intellectual ones
What's the
like I'm
British
trying to
one with
think what
Stephen Fry?
yeah, I'm not too sure on that. I do know a few British ones like Weakest Link and The Chase. And of course you got like British Family Feud and all those other British versions
Yeah.
of American ones or American versions of British shows, which is usually
Yeah.
the case on that. But
I think I've seen an episode of Stephen Fry's show. I don't remember what it's called. Um, one of the shows that I haven't really been watching. I've seen a few clips of it just because by the nature of where I hang out on the internet. There's been an anime game show on YouTube for YouTubers to kind of just answer questions about anime. I've enjoyed some of the clips from that. I haven't really gone on my way to watch it though, because like I said, it's just not something I go out of my way to watch.
Huh. You know what? Maybe you just haven't found your right game show.
Maybe. Like I said, I've enjoyed the little clips of the anime stuff I've seen. It's just not again, it's just never going to be a priority for me.
Gotcha. Huh. Well, not to be necessarily on the pick writer's brain train here, but I do have something that was brought up that I was curious over, or I guess just something new that I learned about your ratings writer. Is in Whodunit, you brought up that you didn't know if you were to give it an objective scale or rating
Yes.
because you brought up how you base your objective scale off of things you know of in the same vein of whatever it is being covered, and if you have no recollection of what is it connected to that you're familiar with, then there's no like base to
Sort
build
of.
off of.
Sort of. It's more like it kind of yes, but it's more it's a little bit also in the vein of like lack of experience within the genre. I'm not confident giving uh an objective scale on something of a genre that I'm super super unfamiliar with. So it'd be like I don't know. I read some smutty romance novel for the first time. I wouldn't have, and let's say I don't. Let's say I've never read any in that vein before, and then I'm just expected to give a like an objective rating on the quality of the work, without necessarily basing it on off of other things around it. So it's kind of like you're throwing something in a void, if that makes sense. Like you don't have anything else to base off of it. It's kind of what episode 0 on the podcast was about. By giving like what we consider tens, fives, and ones, we would have something for our audience to relatively compare our choices to.
Okay, so in just whether in like slight example, when we covered Willow, the movie or the show, were you adding comparisons of what you would consider like 10 out of 10 fantasy with like Lord of the Rings to that work in coverage for your ratings?
No, I wouldn't need to do that because I'm familiar with the genre. So okay, so there's a couple facets to this. On the one hand, I could do that, but I typically don't on genres that I'm super familiar with because I'm can work with what the tropes typically are. I can work with what the characters are as they are written, and I can work solely with the project itself. So I don't necessarily need to work with compare Willow to Lord of the Rings. In Whodunit, being as unfamiliar with the genre as I am, there not really being many characters, there not being many technically plot points of interest. Um, there's not much for me to really base what it would typically be my objective scale on because the world building is just give as is. It's supposed to be quote unquote our world. Uh, the plot is, basically episode to episode solve the how the murder was committed, and then you have the player drama intersplicing off of each other. But the players aren't characters necessarily. They're only characters in the vein of when they're being killed or when uh they're usually when they're being killed. Giles is kind of an exception. Chris, I'm not convinced is an exception because she played it like a contestant, which is better for the show, but that doesn't make her a character, if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay. So you need an understanding of the genre of whatever's being covered as your first step into rating the character, world building, plot.
Yeah.
Okay.
The second step is then once I'm familiar with all the tropes, the genre, what functions typically well, what doesn't, those the archetypal rules that you can base yourself off of, right? That are kind of foundational to whatever genre that I'm covering or whatever kind of story that's being told. I can then base my at least something of an objective scale off of that. The problem with Whodunit is because it's a game mostly. There isn't really much to base my story based, script writing based objectivity score off of. So that's why I asked at the end. It's like, all right, I can weigh this very, very particularly with how my scale works, or I don't give a rating at all. Because even if I did the other thing, because I've also said this before on the podcast, I don't remember when, but I've said I'm willing to change the function of my objective scale as well to something that's genre subversive, for example. I wouldn't be able to do that with Whodunit because I don't watch reality shows or game shows. So even if I were to change and tailor my objective scale more ornately to what Whodunit could be, don't have the, as you say, the previous experience with the genre to justify my answer with that.
Okay. Okay.
Is that
I think I
how?
fully get it. Yeah. I was gonna bring up just
Okay.
like what's the difference to you between a reality show to a documentary?
Um, Documentaries accomplish a specific objective trying to teach something. Generally, with a documentary, if we're going to talk objectively, my scale is very much simplified. Is how thorough are they in conveying their information, and do I learn or take away what they want me to from the documentary? So it's very, very much simplified
Okay.
in a certain fashion. But I've watched enough documentaries to be able to tailor my objective scale to whatever I'm watching. And then there's the other facet of documentaries now, which documentaries have like half dramatic like drama
Reenactments.
shows. Yeah, half dramatic drama reenactment shows that are intertwined with it. I do have one in the back pocket at some point for the podcast because I would be curious to see how you two would weigh something like that. Be it half documentary and half dramatic retelling. Um,
Okay. Yeah, I was
and
just curious over the matter being the use of character, world building, and plot of documentary is not like written in stone kind of. Well, I'm not saying for base every documentary, but in the same vein of similarity to a reality show.
yeah,
Both
I mean,
different
one thing you can,
points to
yeah,
make, but yeah.
yeah, one obviously with documentary shows, you can also it's fun to do. You can fact check them sometimes, which is quite fun. At least I enjoy myself when I do that because I'm a huge history. I'm a layman history buff, so
Crimson, they're a game show about history trivia.
Believe it or not, Pawn Stars had a game show uh, that was about history. I think it only went on for like 2 or 3 seasons, but there was a Pawn Stars history game show.
Interesting.
Actually, Ryder, what do you have you seen Pawn Stars, Ryder?
no.
Oh, okay.
I don't think Ryder would like Pawn Stars.
Is it a reality show? My answer is probably no. I avoid the genre like the plague.
I guess technically
I
reality.
think Ryder would only care about stuff that's history based.
It's pretty
Well,
informative.
I don't know. Maybe this is a reality show. I just thought of one, and it might be the exception to rule. I used to watch this reality show called The Comic Book
Comic
Store,
Man? Oh,
Comic Book Man. Yeah, with Kevin Smith
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah.
I used to enjoy Comic Book Men. But again, that might not necessarily be because of the quote unquote reality of the show. I enjoyed it because it was a family time with my mom. Though I do remember like enjoying the group dynamic a little bit, even though that they were particularly bullying. Even though they typically bullied one of their coworkers in the store, I did enjoy. I think what I remember of that show.
Okay. I'm trying to think.
Come on.
It's not. I think it might be in the same vein of like America's Funniest Videos because it's not necessarily reality, and it's not a game show. But Ryder, I know you're a fan of MythBusters.
I love MythBusters. I do.
Okay.
I guess it's kind of reality. It's not like a rooted
It's
in
not a
drama,
typical reality though.
Yeah.
I think
rooted in drama or anything, but it is reality television.
yeah.
Because
When I
based
hear
in real
reality
life.
yeah, it's based in real life. So, all right, I'll expand on my definition a little bit, I guess. When I think reality television, I think of like the following people around kind of life documentaries, right? So like
Big
Kardashians,
Brother.
This Way is Essex, um,
Jersey Shore.
uh, Jersey Shore. I think of that as reality
Yeah,
television.
that's called trash television. That's what that is.
Well, I'm glad you
Okay,
agree.
I see.
Um, um, but yeah, uh, so I guess if the broad definition is that MythBusters are technically included in reality television, I guess that would be an exception to the rule.
I think
I
reality
don't
TV
watch
show
a lot
has
of
subgenres to it that we're not too
yeah,
familiar with, and there's veins that work and don't.
yeah. If that would be the case, then MythBusters would be an exception to the rule without necessarily going into the full like what they do because myths, obviously, but they delve heavily into special effects and how they work. Adam Savage calls upon his long history with ILM and working with George Lucas and special effects creations, and same with Jamie, where they just kind of work together to kind of recreate myths from movies, recreate myths from real life, and just kind of
Test them.
test them. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed a lot of it's part of the reasons why I decided to become a scientist in the first place is largely due to that show's influence on my life.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I feel like this is a
Yeah.
wealth of information we've gotten.
Yeah. And don't worry, I didn't. Despite your intro, I didn't feel picked on. I knew going into this because of what I said about who done it that I was going to get at least some probing questions about that because I don't really talk about my dislike towards reality shows and game shows that much because it never comes up.
Yeah, it's like never
Typically
comes
because
out.
I avoid it like the plague.
And Sprinks, looking at you, you had a pretty good season, I'd say. Your lowest being a 6.5.
Yeah. For Knives Out, I think I haven't gone back and rewatched Glass Onion. I've only seen it one time, but from what I've said, I do think I'm pretty solid. Like I'm sticking with the 7 I gave Glass Onion, but I think I'm pretty solid that on a rewatch it's gonna drop to like a 6
Yeah.
probably.
And I think I said this already. That made total sense to me after our coverage, just purely because from what I managed to gather about how you enjoy the murder mystery Springs, you care more about the thrill aspect of being taken on a ride rather than it making, I guess, a logical sense, which is totally a fair way to view the genre, because
Yeah.
that's obviously a part of the. I think that's one of the reasons that Ryan Johnson's whodunits do so well. His murder mysteries do so well comparatively to like ruining 40 years of history. Um, is that they are they're thrill rides first and foremost. The kind of mystery is almost not necessarily secondary, but you're there for the thrill first and foremost.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. To me, a film's entertainment value is the large sum of subjectivity.
Sprinks, did you ever go back and look at anything for Glass Onion?
um, I don't think I did. Oh, you know what? I did. I did. I see where you're leaning into. Okay. I went into what I was thinking of with Knives Out, where I saw like how Ryan Johnson broke down a scene, and no, you're talking. Yes, in Glass Onion, going back of Miles giving the glass on screen to Duke is fully visible in the scene before the retelling of Blanc telling the story of how it occurred, and it's clear that anyone can see it, and it's not a zoomed in closer shot where there's slight like arm movements, but you don't see exactly what happened, or they cover it up in some way. It's visually present, and a keen eye that I missed, but a keen eye seeing that already knows the answer, and it plays the whole thing as this big fake onto Miles. So, uh, long bit short. Crimson was right. It's makes it a really bad mystery.
Okay. And it wasn't a Crimson right or wrong thing, but it was kind of just to probe your idea
Well,
of what makes a good mystery.
that's true. But you did bring it up, and I said I didn't see it, and I have to go back, and I did, and you were correct.
I respect you for doing that.
However, I think it would have been a lot better if they did do like a slight zoom in, like a closer, tight shot, so you don't actually see the cup move, but you see the arms move.
Like it'd be cropped, or like you don't see the
Yeah,
glasses, but the arms.
yeah, like Miles
It
sitting
would
down, and you see
obscure
like
it
his arm
better.
move, so
Yeah.
you don't see exactly what happened, but you can tell there is movement, and it's not like fabricated.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it would make it far less
It
obvious.
would have made it an actual mystery.
Yeah,
Yeah, the difficulty with that, right, is because then you're deliberately hiding information from your audience. This is why committing crimes directly in front of the detective is already dumb as a setup. But this is why detectives arrive like at the end of a scene or someone died off screen and everyone freaks out and arrives at a dead body. Clue did this surprisingly really well for everybody being in the same room.
Well,
Um,
except a bullet bouncing off someone's skull to go into the wall, but
yeah. Aside from
Mhm.
Magneto curving the bullet, I do think like that setup makes more sense because you kind of get what you want in Clue, which is you don't necessarily see anything that happens, so the keen eye from eagle-eyed viewers don't miss it, and you get to keep your thrill right of the mystery. But it's a way to get to be able to do it with everyone in the same room and without having to have the detective arrive later. You know?
Yeah. Looking at my scores, even though, as I said, Glass Onion would know, I will definitely put down that Glass Onion. I'm giving a 6 subjectively of a change, seeing that my Clue score currently is a 0.5 difference.
So
Hell
you're
yeah.
changing your Glass Onion to a 6.
Subjective 6, yes.
Okay.
Hell
Still good
yeah.
score for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm like, Clue is far better than Glass Onion, and a
Oh, yeah.
0.5 difference does not. No,
Oh,
that doesn't
yeah.
line up.
I agree. Clue is far better. Um, yeah. Uh, when it comes to constructing mysteries, at least on the logistical side, because I know that's kind of what I prefer is I like my murder mysteries to make sense, but I also don't the less you lie to your audience, the more impressive the murder mystery can is by giving your audience as much information as possible without necessarily like giving the game away. It's a hard balance to walk. Of what I would consider to be direct murder mysteries, I think probably Clue handled that the best in this season.
Um, in this season, I
I think
guess.
so.
Yeah,
Well,
because Murder by Death is the ending's already like not a real ending
yeah,
in
Yeah.
essence.
no, but
Uh,
Clue is tricky because it goes with what ending strengthens the rest of the film. Like the
Yeah.
B ending with
something.
Peacock, that doesn't like fit in. It's real shoehorned.
I think Sherlock Holmes, the first one, might be the cleanest wrap up because you do get
You do get the
all the
big how it
Oh,
breadcrumbs.
happened.
cleanest wrap up. Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
I'm talking more about, I guess, the setup to a murder mystery specifically. Because while Sherlock, that's why I said murder mystery specifically. Because Sherlock Holmes is not necessarily a murder mystery, though you do get your detective speech at the end, putting it all together. And we were there for all of the evidence, even if we didn't put it all together. We know Sherlock did because we saw all of it.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, except the
outside
candlelight.
of obviously the tome stuff, but the
Oh,
tomb
and the
stuff.
yeah, the explosion instead of an implosion, and
Yeah.
candlelight. But yeah,
then yeah, I would agree with Clue then if we're discounting the Sherlock films for your murder mystery
Yeah.
definition for it.
Yeah. I would agree. I think Sherlock feels with the whole detective speech, it probably feels like the cleanest wrap up. But I would say Clue probably has the best layering of the evidence to the audience, so it's not lying to the audience overtly, but also has a lot of but it also withholds just enough to kind of keep the thrill of the mystery going. So the audience technically could figure it out if on despite there being multiple endings, but you know.
yes. Trying to see if there's anything that surprises me about Crimson's ratings.
I can answer that for you because there was one you said you would bring up in the recap.
Oh, well then please enlighten me
Uh,
because I forget.
it it was my 8 objective on who done it. You said you would be poking me on the recap potentially. So I
Oh,
guess since you said potentially, is that something you're wanting to probe further?
um, no, I think that's inclined. It's fine. And writer's gone over his objective. I think that's the biggest point difference between anything on here of a 3.5 and an 8 between your two's objective. But an 8 does seem pretty high, but it seems fit in line with what you gave,
I guess
I
I
think, to
I
this
do have a
point.
question about it, but it's not necessarily like why is it so high? It's more like what's your criteria for a game show slash reality show?
Yeah. So uh because unlike you, writer, I kind of take in everything that isn't just the writing, and who done it is bare bones when it comes to the writing aspect, which we talked a fair
Yeah,
amount
yeah.
on.
No, I assume the writing on quote because your scale also shifts as far as I understand it. So the writing would weigh because the writing is would weigh a lot less significantly. That I
The other stuff
assume.
pulls it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was talking about how the camera work was good. We didn't really have problems with the camera work. The lighting was consistent. I was expecting a lot of continuity errors, and I think only two were brought up in like the 6 hours we talked about it. Uh, so that's pretty good, I'd say. Um, and because there's not much acting, what acting there was good out of everybody. The weakest part of the show being the writing aspect of it, but strictly through like the Giles killer storyline, because I think the writing in terms of the pacing of the show is good. Um, and that also goes into the editing of the pacing of it. So that had a lot of good elements, and that's why like American Movie I rated highly objectively because a lot of the elements that are present are present essentially. To me, a 10 movie is like a perfectly made movie, not that it's the best movie ever made. You know, it's that all the elements are well done, but it's not the best movie ever made. So
Interesting.
this, I think every element was done well, minus the writing.
Crimson, would you ever believe, even if not quote unquote feasible, but would you ever believe the possibility of seeing a movie that you would give an 11 of objectivity?
No,
Okay.
because 10 is just it's the end of the line. That would be the perfectly made movie.
Okay.
Every element was done exceptionally. Um, the only way I think I would go above a 10 on it is if I did like a sinister rating, I guess, and I mixed in subjective for some reason. um, my scale is
Well, two
based
tens
on
would still be a 10,
subjective
right?
elements.
Unless a subjective could go past a 10?
No, I'm just trying to pick at what an 11 even means outside of the
Okay.
scale. You asked that. I don't really
Well,
know
you
what
brought
that
up
even.
the best. How do you word it? You said the perfect made movie, but not the perfect movie.
He said the
Perfectly made movie,
most
but
the
not the best movie ever.
not
Okay.
necessarily the best movie is, I think, the word you need to add there, Crimson.
Yeah.
Because that could be irrelevant to what your subjective score is. Like you can personally not like the whatever it is, but you recognize that all the quality of everything is still makes it a 10 out of 10, right?
I think a good example is some of my highest
Magnolia.
subjective on here. Get that out of here. Some of my highest objectives were on our short season with like Billy's Balloon and um, Rejected. Is that what the second one's called?
Yes.
Um, and Boy and His Camera. I think that one I gave a 9.5. Um, they aren't like amazing films, but the elements they did employ were done well, so it was well made for what was present.
Okay. Interesting. Wow. It's cool to be on the other side of the table, breaking down other people's objective scores. It's a little different. Sorry, I didn't make a
Yeah, it's
little
fun.
pop-ups for the visual end on those. Didn't know they would occur.
Frank, does that tell you how Ryder and I are a bit more different now? Because it always seems like
A
you
bit, yeah.
expect us to lump together all the time. It seems.
No, no, no. Writer giving over the understanding. I think it was last recap or so of the character like 5 points, and then the world and plot 2.5 each for like the 10 total. Really helped me show the difference between the two of you.
Yeah. We definitely I look at strictly writing. He does incorporate things like you, Springs, which is like lighting, acting, camera work,
Yes, but the
visual sets.
writing or storytelling is still like a big like 6.5 overall percentage
Yeah,
kind of thing for writer.
it still weighs a lot
Or
on his scale because
yeah,
usually that's indicative of whatever film we're watching. Like it, if the writing of a film is good, no matter how much the effects, the acting, or the shots might age, or the lighting might age, the writing will still uphold the film. It ultimately,
yeah.
usually.
If a movie's absolute dog shit, but it stars Brendan Fraser, Crimson still, I think, possibly could. I don't think the best actor ever, at least in my eyes,
I
that I
think
think of
I think
Brendan
that's what we call
Fraser
the
onto
Mummy
Crimson,
3.
that Crimson would have just the actor make it up to at least 50% of his scoring, kind of thing.
So
Uh,
I have the worst movie ever made. Brendan Fraser's in it, and I'm giving it like a 5. Is that what you're saying?
I'm thinking you wouldn't give it a 5. I think you would give it maybe a 2 or 3. And it's like it's the worst movie ever. Why is it a 2 or 3? And you're like, well, Brendan Fraser's in it. He's the best actor
Uh,
ever, or something. Like it would raise it, but it's not
like if he killed,
significant. Like
like
a movie has terrible acting, terrible lighting, everything, but the writing's really, really well done. That I can see you giving a 5.
Yeah, I mean, it is on a spectrum of like how bad everything else is. Like, I guess the Brendan Fraser thing is if everything's bad and he's the only good thing, it would still probably be like if we're talking like worst movie ever made, so like a 1 out of 10, and he's exceptional in it. It would still probably be like a 1.5, 2. I mean,
Yeah,
but it wouldn't be 1 because
but if
it does carry weight.
but if on the other end everything's terrible except the writing, it wouldn't be a 1.5 is what I'm thinking.
Correct.
Okay, yeah,
Yes. Yeah. Some elements way more than others.
that's what I was getting at. Got it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well,
Any
that
other
was a
questions on that?
good comprehensive rating question.
Yeah.
Um,
uh,
It only took,
I think
24 seasons, but
I think writer said after those we would do a game that we threw out as an
oh well,
idea.
oh,
not a
whoa.
game, but we could do one of our segments because we always have
I'm like, Ryder
segments.
hates games from what I've heard.
Yeah, a
I
segment?
love games. I just hate game shows.
Well, yeah, we got
I watch a
4 segments lined up. Any preference? We're going to do them all.
no, dealer's choice.
Let's do
Dealer's
post
choice?
bowl perspective.
Okay, post-bowl perspective. You can do that. I had the visual swapped. Uh-oh. There we go. All right, post-bowl perspective. Audience, if you don't know what this is on our YouTube end. We have posts that we post once a week. Every Saturday at roughly, I think it's 12 noon Pacific Standard Time, I think, or 3 Eastern Standard
Saturday.
Time. I don't know what Central Time is to that, but anyhow, Saturday. And we post a poll. You place your bets in, and then come recap. We kind of collect them all, and then go over them ourselves and give a perspective on it, if that makes sense. Today we have 7 to go over.
Yep.
Last time we had the 100 subscriber alien movie one that was like a sneak preview thing that we had, and at that point of recording I think it was only out for less than a week, so we said like this is where it's at now. At this point it's, I mean, at the if you're listening to this the day this is coming out, it'll be out in 2 days. um so I should we just tell them what won?
Yeah, why not?
All right, so in 2 days from now, when this is coming out, Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius is what we're covering, since that won the Alien 100 subscriber vote.
Yes, it beat out District 9, The
District
Thing, and
9
Arrival.
and Arrival still got 0 votes, and the Thane was in second
I
place.
regret not voting. Not that my one vote would have changed anything.
Yeah, kind of ditto. I'm curious if I changed Arrival to ET if that would have changed anything, but so from there on, we got the new ones. Starting with sorry, visual ends here. Starting with 9 out of 10 times, this genre nowadays makes okay at best movies, and the genres are rom-com, western, horror, and comedy, where the winner, a total of 41 votes made. And if you still want to put in votes, you're just learning about it, you want to go put them in, please feel free to. We do check on them, see if anything changes over the course. That would be interesting. So they're not like dead in the water. But rom-com currently is in the lead with 51%. Next up with horror at 24, then westerns at 15, and comedy in last at 10.
Yeah, that makes. I figured comedy would be the bottom because comedy is wildly people's
Yes,
the
but over time,
reaction.
there's jokes you just can't make nowadays.
Yeah, as I've said before, the reaction to comedy is subjective, whether or not it's an objectively well written comedy. So like, but there's so much more that goes into that genre, and kind of similar with horror a little bit. But
Yeah, I'm actually
Uh,
surprised horror got second place because I feel like horror nowadays, with technological advancements and practical effects of evolution and whatnot, just get actually more scary or more um, grotesque
yeah.
on
I
screen.
figured rom-com would win because then that makes sense to me that rom-com wins because that's just an easy film for people to go and see, you know?
Yeah, but they don't
Like
hit the
it's hard
bar
to get
of what used to
yeah.
be. Like 10 Things I Hate About You is so good, and Anyone But You doesn't hit it. Hot Frosty clearly doesn't hit it. Um,
Uh,
what the hell are other rom coms that have come out recently? I don't know. I don't necessarily got the new one's coming
I
out in
might
June
be.
with Pedro Pascal, Dakota Johnson, and Chris Evans. I don't know if that's going to do very good. But yeah, was
I
Baby
guess on
Girl a
the
rom
horror,
com? I don't know.
I don't know what that is. On the horror point you made, that you think they kind of improved due to filming techniques and technology. I feel like horror is just different than it once was. Like nowadays, it's more. It can potentially be more gory. You have different kinds of horrors, but I feel like we get a lot more like grotesque horror now than there was, and a lot more jump scary. Not. It doesn't have to be like something pops up the screen, but the audio
Yeah,
is very important now.
yeah,
A
not
lot of older
necessarily
horrors were more
there's
on
a
the
lot
suspense
less
being
there's a
built.
lot yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of less suspense and tension building usually in horror today.
Like Halloween back in the day was terrifying, but now people can laugh at it. But like if you imagine like when did Halloween come out? 70 79? 1979?
8,
78? Oh,
something like
so
that.
close. Something like, yeah, but can you imagine if Men came out in 1970s?
It blew
People
their
would
minds.
lose their minds.
Yeah. I mean, to talk about the age of horror films, one we covered, The Changeling, that was legitimately a scary movie when it came out. Um, my mom was afraid of it when it came out. I know several other adults that have seen it when it came out, and they were all like, "Yeah, that was scary back in the day." And then we covered it. And obviously, I think Springs was the biggest one on the like. Yeah, I don't even know if this counts as horror anymore.
Yeah.
uh,
I think horror is the genre that gets the most desensitized.
Yeah. I would agree with
that's
that.
the more you consume, the it's like a drug. You need a stronger case. The more you you
Yeah.
take. Uh, so yeah, I just think horror has evolved, and that kind of could get a lot of the newer horrors kind of similar vibes. I think like they are all quite similar to each other.
I guess so. A lot of people have Hereditary really high up as like a modern day horror that's really good.
Yeah, I've heard that. I haven't seen it though.
I won't fully comment. I have seen it, but it's more of a breakdown video if we covered it. I don't want to
You can check
spoil.
his letterbox.
Oh no, shoot. They'll get the answer that way.
Uh-huh. Uh, and I guess to answer this this poll for me,
Yes,
I probably would
because
have done rom coms.
probably you Crimson, you say you're a part of the community and you vote on these. Where Ryder and I
I
do
do.
not.
I do. I didn't vote for this one,
Oh,
but if I were to vote, that it probably would have been rom com.
gotcha. All right. And then I guess with westerns, I think westerns are still fine nowadays. They don't look as grainy, but they're still okay.
I haven't seen all that many modern westerns, so not much to
I
add
don't
to.
know, Cowboys versus Aliens was pretty
Moving on.
Dude, the
it was a
origins of
movie that
LeBlanc.
happened.
That is true.
Was LeBlanc's ancestor. Where do you think he got the
Oh,
southern drawl from?
tying it together. All right, moving on. Next one is after we did our adventure or put out our adventure film ranking. I posted a couple that were not in the collection that were brought up. So some adventure films didn't make it in our adventure film ranking. Out of these four, which one to you has the most adventure in it? With the options being National Treasure, Hook, Jurassic Park, and Adventures in Babysitting. This received 21 votes total, with 43% going to National Treasure, 33% to Adventures in Babysitting, 14 to Jurassic Park, and 10% to Hook.
Does that one hurt you, Sprinks?
Yeah, I don't
Hook
think
being the lowest.
Hook does not belong to be in last place.
I would
I
agree.
haven't seen Adventures in
Park.
Babysitting, so I can only shrug.
I think Jurassic Park would be the lowest of these
I
four.
agreed.
Good movie. Good
I
It has
adventure.
adventure elements, but it's not.
if it's how we defined an adventure film, I would agree. I think Hook goes above Jurassic Park.
I think Hook would go above Adventures in Babysitting.
I wouldn't go that far. You're just saying that with the fantasy setting, but I do
That
think it
I'd have
Adventures
Hook
in
above.
Babysitting.
I'm fine with National
Adventures in
Treasure being first
Babysitting.
place. That makes the most sense.
Yes.
Yeah, I won't dispute that. I think National Treasure is in first place.
Adventures in Babysitting has Thor in it. All right.
Yeah, played by Wilson Fisk or Vincent
Yeah.
D'Onofrio. Sorry.
I mean, we knew what we were talking.
I don't know if Ryder knew what I was talking about.
Not.
I know who Fisk is.
Okay. Anyway, that's that
I
one.
want to see that Thor in the MCU. Actually, that'd be
Oh, Doomsday, Secret
with the
Wars.
multiverse stuff. Yeah, that would be hilarious.
Oh, I want to see that Thor fighting Kingpin. Yeah,
Awesome. I want it. Give it to me.
and Kingpin wins. That'd be
No.
something.
I want this car
That's crossing
mechanic
a line.
Thor to be Kingpin. I need to see that movie again. It's been a long time.
All right, moving on to the next one. Third one here. We have if the next movie in this franchise was to be a horror film, which one would you want to see the most? This received a whopping 139 votes, where the options were Star Wars, The Fast and the Furious, Marvel Cinematic Universe, and John Wick, with a whopping 58% going to John Wick, 16 to Fast and Furious, 14 to the MCU, and lastly 12 to Star Wars.
All right, I want to preface this. I know why John Wick won. People want to see cool action sequences in a horror movie.
I think it would be
my
pretty
vote's
darn cool.
my vote obviously would be on Star Wars. Star Wars has some amazing horror work already done in the novels. I would love to see a horror movie in the Star Wars universe.
Out of these options here, I think Star Wars for me is in second place of where I would put it. I don't think it's in last place. I would have Fast and Furious in last place. I don't know what Fast and Furious would necessarily gain for a horror movie. It would certainly be different. And then the MCU promised kind of Multiverse of Madness to be a horror movie and didn't cement on that. So I think a Star Wars horror movie would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I've talked to Sinister about this poll actually, and he did do he picks would have picked Star Wars. I'm on the John Wick camp. I think that'd be a pretty fun one to watch. Just John Wick killing a bunch of serial killers or monsters or whatever it might go into. I think it would be pretty fun. And then Fast and Furious is probably my second because I'm curious what that would look like. Would it be like Christine, where the cars get possessed or something?
Oh, that would be
And
something.
I
Fast and
think there's
Furious, but it's
potential.
Pixar cars.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh,
yeah,
the
that would be
sentience.
hilarious.
Ooh.
So I think there's an avenue to where that could be quite interesting.
Uh,
Huh.
yeah, I think my list would be Star Wars. Just one, I have a general love for that sci-fi, but also Star Wars is really unutilized as far as its horror aspects because there are some
Wasn't there like
really horrifying things in the Star
zombified
Wars universe that are just
stormtroopers or something?
But he's
yeah, I
gonna kill
don't.
you.
Yeah, I'll kill him after the podcast. But there's some really untapped like horror genre stuff in the Star Wars universe that haven't been ruined by Dave Filoni because Dave Filoni's a hack writer. Um, and I would love to see us go into something like with Abeloth, some of the more grotesque stuff with Yuzan Vong. Anything that has to do with the unknown region plagues would be awesome to see. Um, I mean, I think my second would also be John Wick, my third being Marvel, and fourth would be Fast and Furious. I just, my it's not that I hate Fast and Furious, it's just not interested.
Well, you haven't seen them, right? I know Springs hasn't seen them.
I have not.
I've seen a few of them. I never watched them in order. I've seen the first one. I've seen like I think the Hobbs and Shaw spinoff, and
Wow.
yeah. I also saw their one when they first pop up too in Fast and Furious. So I've seen their spinoff, but I've seen the film they originally come from. I just don't remember what number that one was.
And all I've seen or been on is the Universal Tram Tour bit.
At Universal Studios.
Again, the hat quote? My.
Yeah, we covered that on the podcast. Check out our coverage.
Right, well, so that was that one. Moving on to the next, which is just a duo. Sometimes I just do the 2 or 3. This one was which Sam Raimi trilogy is better, which received 23 votes between Spider-Man and Evil Dead. Spider-Man had 57% with Evil Dead of 43.
I'm kind of surprised how close they are. I guess it just shows how many Evil Dead fans we have from us watching it. Kind of a surprising one.
Or how many Spider-Man 3 haters there are.
I feel like a lot of people would put the 2 enough to carry the weight of 3 if they don't like 3.
I mean, that's what I would do. So
Yeah.
I would probably have picked Spider-Man. I think I like Evil Dead. I recognize how it like they both are genre defining.
Well,
But
true,
I
but you've only
think
seen the first 2.
yes, but it's still genre defining.
Mm.
I would probably lean towards Spider-Man being more integral to where we are now in a media landscape, for better or for worse.
Yeah, I choose
Okay.
Spider-Man as well. And I don't dislike Spider-Man 3 like some people out there do.
My vote would be for Spider-Man. I think it is overall better than Evil Dead because Evil Dead 2 doesn't retcon, but it's an interesting connection to the first one, and then the third one is
What did Senator say? It was a side quel or something?
a side, yeah, and then the third one's a continuation, but a slight, well, maybe more than slight genre change.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's
from what I've seen of it.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm thinking yeah, so I think Spider-Man would win. I'm just trying to think about like oh man, I had something to say about it, but I guess it's gone. Oh well.
no, that stinks.
Oof.
Well, with that, on to the next, where the question was after we covered Creature Commandos, which member of the Creature Commandos would you want most to be a guest on an episode of the podcast? Which received 27 votes, yes, at this point, with the options being Dr. Phosphorus, Nina Mazursky, Eric Frankenstein, and Weasel, where Nina got a 52%, Dr. Phosphorus at a 44%, Weasel at a 4%, and Eric Frankenstein at 0.
And Ryder smiles.
I did. I actually I my choice would have been between Dr. Phosphorus and Nina.
Easy phosphorus for me. Because I already said how much I don't like Nina. Eric wouldn't be very entertaining to talk to on the podcast format, and Weasel I couldn't carry a conversation with. So that's it.
Weasel I would have in last place because you're right, can't carry a conversation. I think third place would be Dr. Phosphorus for me.
I would want Rick or the princess whose name escapes me.
Uh,
Even though she's not a creature command.
I would want
I
Rick,
forget.
the bride, and I think the princess is like really really goofy, like hyped up
Alexia.
guard.
I
Alexia.
Oh,
remember his
I
name,
would
but
take
not the
all.
princess.
I'd probably take all three of them over Eric Frankenstein, to be honest with you.
Interesting. I think I'd take Eric Frankenstein over all 3 of those.
I'm not surprised you liked Eric.
I like Eric's take on movies. I think it would be very interesting to do a rom
Like
com with Eric.
Titanic.
Yeah, his perspective on things I think would be interesting to break down.
It would be
I don't think we could have the bride for more than 10 minutes. She would leave.
Yep, probably. And Waller I'd have at the bottom, below Weasel.
No, no. Waller would say no.
Waller would ask how we got this number, and we'd wake up dead.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I just feel like Dr. Phosphorus wouldn't have a care.
He'd be fun.
Would he?
He'd be making jokes out of everything
I feel like he
and
wouldn't give a
threatening us.
shit to
That would be
anything.
fun. That's entertaining.
I find it aggravating.
Mhm.
But yin yang difference.
Mhm.
Number 6, which this one's interesting how it turned out, which is the start of our mystery season. You have a mystery that needs to be solved. Which duo do you hire to sleuth it out? Which received 4 votes, where 50%, so 2 of them, went to Crimson and Ryder, 25% to Sprinks and Crimson, and 25% to Ryder and Sprinks. Crimson, did you vote for this one?
I did not, because I was involved in it.
Interesting. Okay. Well, with that answer then, that it seems the best duo to sleuth things out is you two.
Bum-ba-da-ba. Sleuthers. I don't know.
Um,
What's our detective duo
yeah,
name? Can't just go Team
I
Bad Luck as
The
a
Red
detective.
Quill.
the red quill. That's not bad. I like that. I think you might have shrunk your supporters there, Springs, with picking Marta as the killer in Knives
I don't.
Out.
Hey, whoa! I don't know.
Yeah, he might have
I don't
out-sleuthed
know.
us, Ryder. It could be Marta.
I mean, well, you're doing some timey-wimey stuff. At the time we're doing this, that's not out yet. So the audience for these 4 votes haven't heard that. But it
I
could.
That's true.
suppose. But this recap, it's already out, so they've
That's
had the
true.
opportunity to.
Come next recap, maybe I'll come back to this, see if it changed at all.
Yeah, we'll see.
Gotcha. So yeah, that's actually pretty close amongst all. None of them had 0 votes, so that's handy.
So do we get to say our perspectives on which we would want, or are we exempting that?
Well, I feel like we all give different answers, which just equal everything out, right?
You do? You think we'd each give different answers?
Well, yeah, if I need to hire 2 people to sleuth something out, I'm hiring you 2.
You don't want to hire yourself?
I don't think that's feasible.
I don't see why not.
Oh, then
It's
are
not
you
like you're
just
a cop and you're not allowed
well?
to work on your own
That sounds like a
cases.
different question. Then it's like, who do you think is the best at sleuthing things as a duo here?
Well, I mean, yeah, we'd have to tailor the question for us since we're answering. Yeah.
Huh?
So what would your answer be, Springs?
Ah, damn. I think I'm gonna go with Ryder and myself because we seem to be the most polar opposite. So I feel like we'd pick up different things, which collectively would give us more information.
But it could also muddy the waters on information.
Maybe
So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
that's exciting.
Oh, I suppose it can be. Yeah. Ryder, which one would you go for?
Uh, I'd probably go with you, Crimson, and me and myself. Yeah, I would be entertained with what you and Crimson do. Uh, but I think we're two different Springs as far as like how we would go about sleuthing. I think it wouldn't get under my skin, but I don't think we'd accomplish much.
You could hit some walls.
Yeah,
Hey, I'm not gonna be
I
pointing
mean,
at any trained monkeys. So
that is
let's
true.
hope
You
not.
will be you'll doing so much better than that.
And we were complimenting him so much through the show. Um, Yeah, I'd probably do the same, even though there is something said to have variety of detectives on a case for different perspectives. But, but there is the risk of, like I said, muddying the evidence of like having too much potential evidence.
But it's better to have too much than too little.
Potentially, because with too much evidence, you could draw incorrect conclusions. Meanwhile, with too little evidence, you might not make any conclusions. So take your pick, I guess.
I think I'd rather have half the answer than no answer.
I'd rather have a cold case than incorrectly prosecute somebody of a crime. That's probably
Oh,
where I'm
enjoy.
at.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Going with the if you have too much evidence, you
Now,
might
yeah, now we're getting a little into
have
12 Angry Men.
problems. Yeah.
Okie doke. Well, that's our
Tell us more
thoughts on
about
the
how
next one.
Juror 8 hurt you with his stare.
Oh, yeah. Is that the funny one?
Yes. The old man.
Yeah, he's a comedy guy. Um,
Mm.
then we're going to number 7, our last one we have here today, um, which there's still more that'll just come up in the next recap kind of thing. So this last one, kind of going off of how we did uh, the previous one with the horror, this one was a little different. If the next film to follow this movie was a spy thriller, which one would you want to see the most? And this received 11 votes total at the moment, with the options being Violent Night, Death at a Funeral, The Cat in the Hat, and The African Queen. Where The Cat in the Hat is at 55%. Violent Night and African Queen are tied at 18, and Death at a Funeral at 9.
Yeah, I expected Cat in the Hat to win this. It's not one I would vote for because I see it in the route of Apple Dumpling Gang 2, where the first Cat in the Hat, it's called Cat in the Hat, but it's focused on the kids, and the Cat in the Hat's there on the journey. I feel like if they did a spy thriller of Cat in the Hat, it would be about Cat in the Hat, and I don't think that's necessarily a good thing.
Yeah. Um.
Yeah. Violent Night's the clear winner for me on this one, and Death at Funeral will be at the bottom. Because I think I could work with the characters in African Queen, but I wouldn't want to work with them if that makes sense.
I would totally pick African Queen. I think like a spy thriller during like World War I with these two guys would be pretty fun.
Interesting. Glad I made this because I thought this would be very interesting. I think I have Cat in the Hat at the bottom. I just don't think I'd be. I think the comedy going into spy thriller would not translate well of a difference in genre, or if they tried to get smart at with comedy aspects, I just don't think it would flow very good and be too clashing. Death at a Funeral would be very interesting, like a family espionage thing that shifts that dynamic and like there was more to it, and I think that could flow better with the comedy style, but still that's like third place for me. I think African Queen would be interesting. And I have that as second, and Violent Night I think would be number one. If Violent Night with his Viking background, there was more connections to things going on. That there's like stuff going on with the North Pole and how that's actually created because it's not shown in the first movie. If it's connected to other folklore or holiday creatures and like someone like a backstabber in the midst don't know who it is, why is it one person? I think that would be very fascinating to see.
Yeah, there's potential for it.
Yeah. Anywho, that's been Post Poll Perspective. Quite fun. Whoa. Mission Impossible.
Sorry, spy thriller.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm like, you hinting? Don't be hinting.
No. No.
um, okay. Well, since Crimson chose that, I'll choose the next. We got 3 more. Let's go to the wheel. We seem to always end with the wheel. Let's put the wheel in the middle.
Yeah, let's not forget about it.
Yeah.
All right, what I'm hoping for is not adventure for the third time.
Ooh, that'd be something. We've had
if
2
if
adventures and
it's
1
adventure
tailored
again,
sprinks.
Yeah, we
if
had.
legitimately if it's adventure again, we
Spin
should roll
again?
again.
I think that
Yeah.
would be a mulligan. Yeah,
Okay.
but if it lands on it a second time, well, we're just stuck with it at that point.
All
So
right.
yeah, we had Tomb Raider, Big, which was the Springs Tailored, and then
Huh.
African Queen. Huh? Better not have landed on Adventure again.
Oh, silly me. There we go. I'm like, it wasn't working. All right, let's see where
Oh,
we're at.
drum rolls.
Oh! Fascinating. Fascinating win. It's not adventure.
Ah, Springs Tailored.
Not Springs Tailored.
Oh, something new?
Something new. Black and white.
Ooh. I think that's a pretty good pick for Sinister. He's watched a lot of old movies.
Yeah. Well, there also could be a new movie, like The Lighthouse.
I guess it's true. Yeah. Yeah, a new like it's
Is
a city
Nosferatu?
count or not because there's red in there.
I don't know. Probably not. I don't know.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Nosferatu, was that black? Are you talking about
No.
the original or
The
the
original, the new one isn't. I'm trying
Oh,
to think
okay.
what's the newest black and white movie, and I don't know.
Probably a Zack
Girls by
Snyder
Night.
movie.
Oh, shots fired. Bam, bam, bam.
Black and white.
Anyway, yeah, next season, or this upcoming season, there will be a black
Should
and
we?
white movie.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, for restrictions, should we disqualify films that had a black and white edit, like Logan and some of Zack Snyder's movies, or something
Oh,
else?
interesting.
Should there be a disqualifier? I'm is what I'm asking.
I don't think so. I think that's allowed.
Okay. Just
I feel like it's a
just
bit
throwing it
more
out there.
Yeah,
loophole,
like the
but I
new
guess
R version of Logan, I think that would be okay because it is black and white and changed that way. I'd allow it.
All right.
now what
Cool.
Sinister can't do is grab a movie and put a black and white filter on it and
No, can't do
send it
that.
for us to watch.
Can't do that.
There has to be an intentional edit already
Yes.
existing.
Yes.
You can't take Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, put a black and white filter and
No.
send it.
Nope. We can't just lower the saturation. Nope. Can't. It doesn't work that way.
Kind of funny though.
Anyway, that's
All
what we
right.
What about
spent.
what
So,
about what about
oh,
movies with sorry. What about movies with black and white bits? Like, Lord Voldemort's backstory.
was that black and white? That was like murky green.
Uh,
No, I won't count that. That's not a black and white
Yeah, yeah.
movie. That's like calling
Yeah,
Wizard of
I-
Oz a sepia tone movie. It has sepia tone parts, but it's not the over 50% of it.
Alright, successful Sinister Wheel, no duplicate.
No dupes.
Ooh,
All right,
happy
Ryder,
about that.
you get to choose segment, which I feel like at this point we got to come up with a new name for it, but it is kind of stuck. Or critics on critics.
You just get to pick segments, David.
That's just funny.
Unless there's something I'm missing.
Well,
Now
Springs, maybe to space out the stuff a little bit. Springs, did you have any like season questions? Because usually you have a couple written down. Or did we already
I was gonna
kind
say we
of
should
I
probably do
already
some questions again
I
since we
already
did two games in a row.
I already had mine, which was the recap questions on the objective stuff.
Oh, well, you didn't have any. Like,
Oh, nope.
extra
You know what?
ones
You know
or
what? You know
anything?
what? I had a separate thing here. Hang on. Yes, I had
I
one.
knew it.
I had one. My one question I had is how many movies in this season would you say were parody? Because it's something Ryder brought up a couple times in coverage, and I was just curious.
Okay. All right. Intentionally parody or so badly written it becomes parody?
What you decide for yourself how many movies in this season were parody to you.
To me, 4.
Okay.
In that case, yeah, 4 I would consider parody. Uh in reality, as far as genre goes, I would consider 2 objectively parody.
Okay.
I still under that lens say 4 because Knives Out and Glass Onion do feel like they're just homages to other stuff. They're not like innately like this is our detective murder mystery film. It does feel like a parody. It takes all the tropes, so all the other ones, doesn't reinvent the wheel. And then obviously Murder by Death is definitely one clue we talked about being one too.
Okay, my answer. Oh,
Yeah.
for
Okay.
Ryder.
No, you finish, Mexico.
My answer is 1.
You don't think Clue is one?
Nope. I think Clue is a comedy, and a good comedy. I don't think it's a parody. Murder by Death is the only one I would call for myself a parody.
You didn't move me fully, Crimson, but I can definitely be leaning. I'm leaning a little bit more towards that. So I'll say 2 plus 2 potentials, I guess, objectively. I'm not gonna rewatch them, thank God. But I would I could definitely see that angle being taken with them. If that's the lens you're using for them being parody, then I think that does fit for those.
I don't know. You've seen Knives Out what 4 times? I'm sure you got another one in yet till you die. You know.
You have it like a
No.
4.5, right? Not a great subjective,
Uh,
but could be a lot worse.
it's a tolerable subjective. I'm not gonna go through it by myself. If you want
No.
me to watch it again, it's up to you to schedule a movie night for it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I brought up with Who Done It. I said my subjective could be higher if it was more of that like Riverdale-esque thing we went through, Ryder, in our past of, camaraderie of
Yeah,
friends, laughing at it, going along with the
absolutely.
plot lines.
That would absolutely raise the subjective of that. I mean, that's why Riverdale still has such a high subjective for me because now intrinsically tied to the memories I have with you guys.
Yes, it is a laughing stock. A fun laughing stock, too. It's not a uh, crawling, grueling one to get through. However, there is a point that we stopped. We have not finished the show.
Yeah.
Cool. Did anyone else have any other questions?
No, I don't. I mean, I'm pretty sure I did, but I never wrote it down. I think I had one in Clue that I said I'd bring up, but I didn't write it down.
Well, shucks.
I know. Oh, no, I had one in Knives Out. That's right. And
No.
you said you'd come up with something, but I feel like you would have brought it up if you did. So you probably forgot to. The finding a connection between Marta and Ransom because you failed to connect the two in your theories.
Connect the two?
Yeah, of when Marta knows of Ransom's involvement and is manipulating him to fit her murder plot.
Oh, yep. Didn't look at it. Oops.
Because I brought it up at the end of it, like it's kind of integral to your theory, and you weren't able to connect that dot during the coverage.
Nope. I didn't do any more on that.
Okay.
Oops. But I still go with if it wasn't a problem, then why they'd give her an Android phone?
Because not everybody has an Apple product.
Well, it's an
So it
Apple
doesn't have to
clause.
be Meta. Yes, but people that are also are not or are killers could have Android.
Well, then why don't they just give everyone an Android?
Why does everyone have to have the same phone? Why can't they have variety? Why
It
can't someone have a Google Pixel?
it
I don't.
needs more variety than one.
Doesn't. You're saying all or none. Why does it have to be all or none?
Because that's an Apple clause. It happened in Glass Onion. There's only one Android phone, and it goes to the killer. Knives Out has 2. If Marta was such a good guy, why isn't she using an Apple?
Because in real life, people that use Androids aren't killers. Springs. I mean, it's not a hard line.
It's a hard line for Apple.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that. But why can't some character that isn't a killer not have an Apple product?
They could. No, they fully could. It could also be like the throw off thing. It's like, oh, everyone has an Apple except this one. It's chosen that way to like throw you off. But it's like, what's the point of throwing you off if there's nothing tied to it other than like a meta use of the writer directors onto the audience and bypassing the character? But if it's also not that, and it's actually inclined to how I see it as Marta being the killer in a form, then it has to be made that she can't have Apple.
And what about the fact I threw out there when I was doing the research for it about the Blu-ray case?
I don't
Do you remember?
remember that.
So the Steelbook Blu-ray had the slip cover with arrows pointed, the knives pointing as arrows,
Yeah.
and if you flip the case around, it would point to the killer, and it was pointing to Ransom. That was the design choice they did for it.
Yeah.
So why would it be pointing to Marta?
Well, if it's pointing to the kill or like a killer, Ransom still suits because he killed the maid. He
Why
still
wouldn't they
is
have
a
two arrows?
killer. Well, there's only one of the knife spin things, and the only one it lines up in the movie is Blanc. But I think that goes more with the donut hole analogy thing than pointing to a killer.
Well, I'm ready to move on to another
Okay.
segment. I think we put a good spacer in there.
Well, it's still up to writer to decide. You've chosen one. I've chosen one.
Let's do critics on critics.
All right.
You know what they say?
It's a fan favorite. I'm a fan.
Hey, all right. Is there one you guys want to start with?
Do you
I
have
didn't
one
do
from
one
it?
of each because
Oh,
we
okay.
have a
Well,
lot. I think the only one I don't have is the first Sherlock. So I have six. If I feel like it's going long, I'll just
who done it?
find. All right. Who done it?
Yeah, let's work our way back. Start with who done it.
All right. So I went a little different with this one. I didn't go for a critic review. I went on YouTube and found a comment about it.
Okay, hold on. Pause. Does that count?
Interesting.
That works. That works. That's someone still
No,
critiquing the work, right? That
yeah,
fits.
we did that with Amazing Digital Circus or something.
Okay,
We
then
did it
it's
with
valid.
There's precedence.
All right, it's
Yeah, there's
valid.
yeah, we've
Okay,
done
precedence
it
cool.
for it.
before.
You just said not a critic. I'm like, okay, just want to make sure. That is a critic. Someone is
They're
critiquing.
critiquing. Yeah.
Okay, carry on.
All right. So on YouTube by Ghost Girl 7089 wrote, "Not gonna lie, people here saying the Raising the Dead was cheesy. Honestly, I thought it was amazing just for it to show more of the fantastic makeup work. The makeup artists were incredible. Plus, holy shit, even the contestants acting were just mwah, incredible." There was no mwah, it was just a dash mark, but I added that
Oh
in.
my god, I actually read
Uh,
that comment and liked it.
Overall,
I remember
masterful.
that comment.
One of my all-time favorite TV shows, and it's a real shame it didn't get a second season. Third, fourth, fifth season, absolutely phenomenal.
Interesting. I agree with 50% of her comment. Of their comment.
What would
But
what would be the not agree part?
that the dead coming back and the actors were phenomenal. They didn't do anything. Ulysses was just
They
whipping the
sat there.
grass.
Hey, Ulysses whipped the ground really hard.
Yeah, ooh, Oscar
They
worthy.
take whipping classes, all right? That's not true. I didn't find that.
What, Dante just holding his palms out in a lawn chair? Yeah, who cares? That's not a no.
Dude, he looked dead. All
Yes,
right, he
that goes
looked
on to
like
the
he lost a quarter
yes,
of a
that
million
that goes
dollars.
on to the well, that goes on to the 50% that I think is good. Yes, commenting that the makeup department's really good. I think that's the best thing of the show.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
makeuping and prop department because they combine like the bodies and stuff like that with their like what killed them
Yeah,
sometimes. So
it was very clever, very good.
yeah, it was good. All right, let's go with Clue. This is on Metacritic with a score of 63 out of 100 by the Chicago Tribune.
Ooh.
Uh, didn't get the author of the article, but it's from that uh, site. Uh,
all right.
all right. There's a movie here, and there's a gimmick. The gimmick undermines the movie, and the gimmick is attached to the wrong part of the movie. Other than that, Clue offers a few big laughs early on, followed by a lot of characters running around on a treadmill to nowhere.
Huh. Which ending did this Chicago Tribune critic get? Is a question. Or did they actually view all three endings?
Let's see. December 13th, 1985.
Ooh.
So
Well,
that
there's
could
still
actually have been from one of the three in theaters, right?
yeah,
When did it come out?
85. But it
All
could
right,
have
so
been
this is
they could have just
probably
seen
off of one of them.
one viewing.
Yeah. Let's see. Is
Hmm.
there a way to dissect which one? Characters running around in a treadmill.
No.
That's kind of all three of them. That's before.
No, no, no. You needed like
Um,
Wadsworth Scarlet or Peacock to define. But
the, the gimmick undermines the movie, and the gimmick is attached to the wrong part of the movie. So what would the gimmick be? Would it be the alternate endings? And
is the
Does he mean
gimmick
the comedy? Because I
maybe,
think
or is it
because
the
he does
board
reference
game
comedy in another part
bit?
of it.
Like it's a movie off of a
mm,
board game, and the connection is the gimmick.
could be interesting.
And he thinks the gimmick of the board game is what's
You
missing
know,
when
for
it
a
should be
Chicago
focused more
Tribune
on the movie.
writer,
But
he wasn't very clear.
no, but a
Well, on
63,
Metacritic,
that's okay.
on Metacritic, they give blurbs and links to their full multi-page reviews. So this is their like blurb that
Okay.
they wrote out.
I'm curious what
Okay,
ending they
send me
got.
send me the
But
article. I'll read it.
yeah. Anyway, 63 on a one-time viewing of the movie? Sure.
Yeah, I'm just curious what the gimmick was because it said it was attached to the wrong part of the movie, which makes me feel like it isn't the board game thing is the gimmick. It's actually an aspect of the film that's
Is it
only
a
in
murder
part of the movie.
mystery? Is it
Hmm,
Mr. Body's ADR work? Which, oh my gosh,
there you
I'm
go.
sorry, we're in the midst of Critics on Critics. After watching Clue, I did watch the Clue documentary on how the movie was made.
What was it called? Who done it?
Actually, was that what it was called?
Yeah, I think it was.
Who done it? A Clue documentary. Um, I'm not going to break down the movie of that documentary, but it was revealed that Lee Vane, who was Mr. Body in the movie, every single one of his lines was ADR.
Yeah, which could be to what we picked up on of him not being good.
Him in the hallway was not good. Well, the two of you said like pretty much this whole time. I thought it was just the hallway scene that really stood out, but
Yeah. So yeah, cool to get an answer to something that wasn't really questioned, but has an answer.
agreed.
I guess in that vein, I saw part of the Clue TV show.
Oh, hey,
That we're
ditto,
expanding upon.
ditto.
Yeah,
Crimson showed me the episode of the Clue TV show.
yeah. The
Worse
miniseries
than
version.
Riverdale.
It was bad.
It was really bad.
I'm happy I dodged that bullet then.
All right
You haven't
then.
dodged it yet. There's
This is
potential,
this is
Ryder.
just like the video game I play where I shoot battleships. All right there, Mister Colonel Mustard. It was terrible.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Guys, I think I found the formula. Slow down there, Professor Plum.
Well, I have to pay for the Chicago Tribune, so I will not be reading it, unfortunately.
No, Dren.
Oh, well, at least he got his blurb. Their blurb. All right. We'll go with Knives Out next. This one, I doubt we'll have too much to talk about. I couldn't find. Well, they gave it a score A, so not a
Oh,
numerical
interesting.
one.
Okay.
They gave it an A on Rotten Tomatoes.
Which translates
Fresh.
to like a 90 out of
It's
100.
fresh.
Okay.
I was assuming they go to A plus. Yeah, I guess it would be like a 90. Masterfully written dialogue, remarkable editing, and great use of classic cinematography techniques. An entertaining story with tremendous replay value and significant socio-political layers that only elevate the already complex yet subtle narrative.
Stop. What? Say that one more time. Socio-political layers?
Yes, significant socio-political layers that only elevate the already complex yet subtle narrative.
I must be stupid. I didn't pick those up.
You weren't stupid. It's they were there. It's just there's no subtlety and there's no layers.
No layers. It's on the top layer.
Camera
Sorry, you
work
can.
was good.
I
Sure.
agreed with the first half, I guess technically, but he lost me very
Oh,
quickly.
you agreed with the well written?
No, I
Yeah.
didn't.
Masterfully written dialogue.
Yeah, the dialogue is very shit, but I think everything else was actually
Eat shit.
okay.
Eat shit. Eat shit.
Yeah, there you go.
A bunch of weak
Forgot to
sauce.
mention who the author of the review was. Manuel Sao Bento from MSB Reviews.
Well, Manuel, I'm curious if you
Manuel
think
Salbento,
Marta
citation
was the killer.
needed for dialogue, please.
Yeah. Who's the killer?
Actually,
Uh,
could think Ransom's innocent. You know that's an idea.
it's possible. Maybe not of attempted murder of Marta, but
Yeah, who knows?
something else.
Didn't he actually murder a nurse?
Yeah, who
Yes.
knows?
No, we physically see him attempted
Yeah,
murder the nurse.
yeah. He puts the needle in, and then she's still alive after like 2 hours. And how's that?
It's her fault
We
for
don't
not
know.
going to the hospital even.
Yeah,
So
why'd she stay in that empty laundromat and not go if she had
really
2 hours of
fault.
life? I don't
She could have crawled out onto the
know.
street.
I don't
It's
know.
really her
She didn't
fault.
fight.
It was assisted suicide, really. So she wanted it.
He was doing her a favor.
Exactly.
I mean,
Well,
honestly, you could make the argument for assisted suicide with how dumb she played everything out. That was clearly she was acting, pretending because she wanted to die. It makes so much more sense that way.
Oh, I'm like Ryder didn't. I was figuring Ryder, you would say, "Oh yeah, she just wanted to get out of this movie."
Yeah, exactly.
go with Sherlock Holmes 2, Game of Shadows. Half star on Letterbox by Lep12. So 1 out of 10. Oh boy. I watched the sequel not knowing there was a first movie. Maybe it's better. I don't know. I kind of just don't want to watch it after seeing this. I would have thought, oh man, RDJ and Jude Law, that's got to be golden. I was wrong. It's like if Pirates of the Caribbean, Rush Hour, and Lone Ranger were put into one movie, but it was all the bad parts of those movies if those parts sucked.
Oh,
I
that's
started playing
revolting.
GTA Online halfway through. The movie just turned into the YouTube autoplay video, and I didn't bother paying attention to. I just bought the Oppressor Mark II in game. Grind never stops.
What is this called? What is this critique?
um, it's not a critique. He just said he didn't watch it, so he could just
Yeah,
kind of think he could just ignore it.
You didn't watch
that
the
was
second half of it.
the Pirates of the Caribbean, Rush Hour, and Lone Ranger bad parts all blended is quite a statement for Game of Shadows.
That is not this film.
Absolutely not.
Just such a solid review. It was pretty funny when I found it.
Just be like, yeah, I bought the Oppressor Mark II.
Grind never
Good
stops.
for you, I guess.
Huh.
So I disagree with their
I agree.
review of the movie.
I agree with never finishing the movie. A 1 out of 10, I guess, makes sense.
Yeah, they didn't really say what was
No,
bad
they didn't
about
see
it
the first
other
one
than it's
either,
just bad
so
parts.
they're
That's true.
missing the setup and the chemistry, and
They're like, who's Irene?
maybe
Who
th-
cares?
maybe they were put off by the raw sexual tension between Sherlock and Watson.
Nah, there was more in
Uh,
the first one.
there was a lot of comments regarding that on Letterboxd,
Yeah.
and
As
not
there
in a
should
positive
be.
light.
Not in a positive
Of
way.
course not.
No, they were like, "This is too damn gay for me."
Yeah, yeah.
lot of
There's a lot of people who are
Um,
that way. It's like
There's a lot of that
sucks
on
to
Letterboxd.
suck. Can't enjoy a good bromance anymore, I guess.
All right, let's go with Glass Onion. Got this one on IMDb with a 6 out of 10 by Mazbutts 16041.
Mazbutts, huh? 6 out of 10, that's me. All right.
Yeah. With the title of the review being Slow Start, Exciting Middle, and Childish End. I really enjoyed Knives Out, and I was looking forward to the sequel with much anticipation ever since it was announced. I was, however, disappointed. With Glass Onion, director and writer Ryan Johnson shows once again that he can carefully craft an intriguing story with brilliant direction. But with a bigger budget comes many challenges, and unfortunately, the movie falls when it's trying to be too extravagant and a spectacle for the viewers. The core story is very interesting, and after a dull start, the middle of the film really hits its stride with Johnson moving his playing pieces about with ease and wonderment. That was when that was when I most enjoyed the movie. So I guess when it shifted to Helen, uh, but the ending was ultimately disappointing. Childish humor in some sequences that were clearly for spectacle which I can only describe as throwing a tantrum, ruined the movie for me. I had some fun with this, but was left feeling robbed, as there was definitely a compelling enough story here for this to be another great movie. I do feel the more intimate character story driven moments in the film were where it shines, and and not in the big budget set pieces. Watch us if you enjoy the genre, but please lower your expectations before doing so. Blech.
Hmm.
Kind of a long one.
Other than
I thought he
the
overrated it, to be honest.
yeah, other than the riddled Crimson adverbs throw in throughout that review, I think it lines up pretty well.
I just added the Helen part. But,
Well, just everything of like the spectacle, the magnificent, like
oh,
just all that.
adding character to the words,
Yeah.
yes. Um,
No, I can see that.
the
I get it.
childish humor and the budget causing a extravagant ending, I can see the points with
Oh,
that.
like Miles's uh
I mean, they
tackle.
ended the movie on an explosion on a murder mystery. I mean, that's spectacle. You don't have
Yeah.
to end on it blowing up a building. That is certainly spectacle. So I guess their review makes sense to me. All right. I think that was long enough. I'll just leave out the murder by death one to streamline it.
Oh, is it too big?
No, but it's not a lot to dissect.
Oh, got it, got it. Fan interaction. Hey, let us know down in the comments if you want to hear that one.
Sure.
There we go.
If we get one comment on it, we'll do it. We'll
Okay,
take
you
it.
you heard the man. One comment. That's
Yep.
all it takes.
All it takes.
All right, so I guess that leaves us with the segment, doesn't it?
I
I
believe it does.
All right,
think so.
audience. We're coming to you with a brand new segment, a new one. This was an idea I strangled up together, and it's called Top Tenning.
So we're talking about our top 100 favorite movies or something?
Not 100. No. Gosh, no.
Top
No.
1,000. Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's more like it. No, how this will go, and I, being that I came up with it, how do I word this? I didn't want to tell Ryder and Crimson how the game went because then it's like everything laid out and they, no surprise to it of like, oh, interesting kind of thing. So we chose we all needed a list of 10 things and we chose each other's list of who's making what and how I viewed this was going to go. And I really like the list ideas we've come up with because it is variables to how this runs, and I visualized the list I gave Crimson to make how the game would go, but the one that Crimson gave Ryder and Ryder gave me are interesting variables to changes. So I think that's very cool of how it just turned out. So how this will go is we'll probably just go down the line because it's easiest. So we'll start with Ryder. Ryder has a list of 10 things. Or any one of us, if we ever do this again, has a list of 10 things, 1 through 10. 1 being the best, 10 being the worst. And then there could be things, all the way up to 100, but it's just what are the top 10. Then it goes back and forth between the two other people to try to guess what is on that list. If they get it correct, they get like a point kind of thing. The first person, I guess, to get 6, so like over the halfway mark, wins the point for that round for themselves. So if you get 6 of someone's list, you won because the other person would only get 4 max at that point. And then it kind of just goes over what do you think is on the list, and then we actually get the top 10 list, so it's informative in that way of someone's top 10 of a subject while also being a game aspect of it. And then at the end of the 3 rounds we're doing, last place will get 0 points for the big total, second place will get 1, and first place winner will get 2. And if it's overall tie amongst all of us, I'm in a generous mood, we'll all get 1 point.
Oof. So this has potential to really be one-sided if someone knows something about someone else more than the other.
True, and it can come to an end if both sides say, I have no more guesses. If it's like, you've only gotten 3 things on someone's list, and the other 2 participants say, "I have no more guesses. I don't know what the other 7 could be." If they both agree to it, then that can end there. Whoever has the most points of the 2, like someone got 2, one person got 1, the 2 get the point of that round, and then the other 7 get listed off by the person with the list.
All right.
Any other questions? Just to clarify. I want to make sure we all are on the same page.
I think I got it. So you guys, I've made my list. You guys are going to be guessing what I have on my list.
Yes, we will go back and forth trying to guess what is in your top 10 of your list. As soon as someone gets 6 of those 10, they won that round.
And
Okay.
let's say both people are like, all right, I'm out of guesses, and it's at like 3. Do they still win, or they didn't reach the 6 points and no one gets points?
No, as I brought up before, if it's at 3 and both sides say, I have no more guesses, if someone got 2 and someone got 1, the person who got those 2 gets the point for that round.
Oh, okay, I got
Okay. So we'll start with Ryder. And Ryder, if you would like to reveal what your list is.
But don't give the
All
items.
right.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I was tasked with picking out the characters that I find the most attractive within our podcast coverage.
Correct.
Yes.
So you have the top 10 listed down.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Cool.
wait, I'm reading them out and you're ordering
No.
them?
No.
No.
So
We'll
you
just
have
guess
your
who's
you
on
have your
it.
10. We will go with
Okay.
Crimson to say 1, and you will let us know if it's on your list and if it is where you have it placed. Because that kind of helps the other 2, like, oh, there's something above, something below that maybe they're thinking of, not thinking of. So it's a little aid also to the people playing, and it's not a ton of blind guesses. And then Crimson and I just go back and forth until one of us gets 6, kind of thing, or we both say no more. Now, I prefaced this at the beginning. How I originally thought this game could be is far more variety, like a ton of variety, kind of thing. So this one's a little. I think this is the middle ground of the lists we have, of our 3 lists, where it's restricted to a certain thing and criteria, but it does have a lot of options, I guess. Um,
Yeah.
and being Crimson, you pose this list onto Ryder. You had a couple caveats to go with it as well, right?
Yes. So there can't be 2 picks from the same coverage.
So all
So
10 can't be from the same movie.
correct. It's based off the character on screen and not the actor, because an actor can look more appealing in one movie opposed to another. So it's based off the character in the film. And was there one more, or was that it?
I think, to
I
my
think
knowledge,
that's
that's
it.
all you gave. So,
Yeah. So that was the criteria.
all right. And with that, Crimson, you can go first.
All right. I'm gonna open up with Velma from Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed.
Not on the list.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss. Okay. I'm going to go with Velma from Mystery Incorporated.
Mystery Incorporated.
10.
All right.
That's gonna be my second one. Are we doing the rule of if you get one right, you get to go again, or is it
No,
just
no,
set
no,
in
just
stone?
back and forth.
Okay.
Otherwise, someone could get all 6 in a row and the other person didn't get. That doesn't seem fair. So we'll just keep going back and forth.
So I'm gonna have to bounce off of you guys for the answer here because I don't know their name, but they like in Castlevania the main like vampire lady in that,
The main vampire lady?
I think, or am I mixing that with season 2? It's been a
That would be
while.
Yeah,
season 2,
that's
sir.
season 2.
Season 2.
First one's just
Okay.
Dracula and Alucard.
Okay. Then the lady that got burned in Castlevania.
Oh, Dracula's wife.
Yeah.
No.
Darn.
I'm going to go with Alice Cullen from Twilight.
Oh, that's a good one.
Nope.
Oh.
He is an honorable mention though.
How about? Man, it's really a test trying to remember some characters' names. Zoe Saldana in Death at a Funeral. I don't remember the character's name.
Nope.
Okay. Irene Adler from Sherlock.
Honorable mention, but not on the list.
Drat.
There's so many people.
There's 9 above Velma.
I know. The in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I guess love interest I would take of the main guy, the more like assertive cop lady.
I do have someone in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but not the main love interest.
Oh, well, that's a hint.
He revealed too much.
He did.
Yeah. Am I not allowed to do that?
No, you totally can, but I'm not
It
gonna.
kind of helps the next person.
It does help me, but I will not. I will allow that to go to Crimson. For my guess, I'm gonna go with Veronica Lodge from Riverdale.
Nope. Honorable mention though.
Man,
Did you think this one was going to be
I
easy?
got 3 honorable mentions in a row.
The like emo cop from Brooklyn Nine.
Rosa Diaz, number 4.
Yes. Whoa, that's actually surprising.
I'll go with Sypha from Castlevania.
Honorable mention.
Damn it!
How many characters are on the honorable list?
That's supposedly my whole list.
I have 6 on my honorable mentions list.
Oh my gosh!
I'm gonna get them all.
You're gonna get them all.
I will say this: Sci-Fi Bananas was on my list until this morning. I literally changed it before we started recording today.
Lovely, Crimson, your turn.
Wow. Man, I thought we would have had more than 2 by now. I'll go with. I don't think this is right though. Abigail Chase from National Treasure.
Abigail Chase is on number 5.
Wow. Zoe Washburn, Firefly.
Oh, I didn't hear the answer.
He said it was number 5.
Oh, really?
Yes, number 5. Wow. What did you say?
Zoe Washburn, Firefly.
Nope.
All right.
Zoe, huh? You had to look that name up because you could not remember her name.
I have a list of guesses I have for writer.
Yeah, there's no way. He did like enough though? Probably not. I will go with I guess River from Firefly.
Honorable mention.
Oh,
Ooh. Damn. Gonna go with Ilsa Loon from Casablanca.
Nope.
Damn. Jane Smith and Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
I actually deleted them from the honorable mention list, but they were there.
Goodness. Sorsha from Willow.
Number 1.
Yes. All right.
Wow. Number 1.
We got
See, I'm
1 4
because I would never
1 4 5 10.
This is pretty wild. All right. Ooh, I mean, there's several I've thought of that are animated. Like, I don't know if they're of age, but I don't think Ryder would care.
I was careful on those.
I'll say Suzu from Belle.
No.
No.
I will comment. There are animated characters on my list.
Yeah, that goes for my next guess. Captain Amelia from Treasure Planet.
Not on my list.
Try it.
Cat lady. The was it Big Sister from Weathering with You?
Natsumi Suga?
That sounds right.
Yeah. 8.
Hey, that's kind of left field one.
Hmm.
You're gonna struggle, guys, going
Like,
forward.
yeah, I'm like left field. I only have one left on my list that hasn't been said, and that's Dottie Hinson from League of Their Own.
No, not on the list.
Uh, go with. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on her name right now? Yeah, the Princess and Princess Bride, like an
Buttercup.
Buttercup, Princess Buttercup.
Honorable mention.
Wow, is that all the
I feel like
honorable
there's more
mentions?
than 6 honorable mentions. Gosh, so many honorable
Uh,
mentions.
I don't think
So
it's
yeah,
on there, but I'm gonna. I'm at a blank now. The Bride from Creature Commandos.
Not on my list. No.
Okay.
the Princess from Creature Commandos.
Not on my list.
I think I'm out.
The It's been so long. The hot mom in Stranger Things.
No.
No,
No.
I don't.
Yes, now that I remember her, yes, honorable mention, but no.
I'm like,
No,
I
no,
don't
no,
think a
it's
writer
not
has
on the
any
list.
Stranger Things characters. I guess my last guess I'll give out that I think then I'm out is Sandra Bullock from Practical Magic. I forget her character's name.
No.
Okay.
Well, I guess so. It's just not me saying a bunch of stuff while Spinks is sidelined. I will go with. Was it Brooke? And before we go, Alice Eve's character.
No.
Oh shoot! One more. I got one more.
Okay.
Death and Showcase Death.
Oh, damn it.
Damn it! Yes, that would have been on my list, but no, not on my list.
Oh, what?
Oh, I forgot about Death.
Ah,
Yeah, she would be number 1. I completely forgot about her.
darn. She would have been number 1. She would have
Yeah,
beaten
she would have kicked Velma off my
below.
top 10.
That's wild.
Well, Crimson, you get the point for this round.
Okay.
So, writer,
Dang.
what
Alright.
was your list?
She got
All right,
forgotten.
so 10, we have Velma from Mr. Incorporated. Number 9 was Sasha from Cyberpunk Edgerunners Let You Down. 8 was Natsumi Suga from Weathering with You. 7 is Doxy 3 from Blade Runner 2049. 6 was Malcolm Reynolds. 5 was
Oh.
Abigail Chase. 4 was Rosa Diaz. 3 was Mitsuha, the adult version. 2 was Lydia Dietz from Beetlejuice, and number 1 was Sorsha.
Oh, Lydia
Lydia
Dietz.
Dietz.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
That's another
Damn
surprise
it.
one to me.
No, Lydia Dietz makes sense. Damn it. I chose no one underage because I thought that would be too tricky.
No, I know Ryder, and he doesn't have much shame.
Like I said, I specified in my notes adult version of Mitsuha.
Yes. Yes.
She shows up twice, so in both in Weathering with You and in Your Name.
Okie doke. Well, with that, Crimson got the point. Now on to Crimson's list.
How many did I get out of that?
You got 3,
I got 3.
and I got
Okay.
2. But all honorable mentions were found, so
Made it more challenging than I thought. That's
I've learned stuff. All right. So my list was one that Sprinks provided for me, which was, correct me if I'm wrong, hopefully I'm right, my favorite board games, which
yes.
exclude card games.
Yes, but include board games that have
With
cards. A board has to be involved.
so like
Nothing that
Monopoly
has
would count
cards.
because it technically has.
Yes.
Yeah.
but Go
But no
Fish would
Uno,
not count.
no Skippo.
Yeah.
None of that jazz.
No. And that was it. So like no caveats other than that. I guess I should have said like the base whatever it is, like no variations, I guess.
I mean, I'm hoping all these qualify as your definition of board game. None of these are card games. I'm
No,
hoping these
but
all count as your definition of a board game.
but I hope you don't have like one game and like 5 different versions of one game.
No, I didn't do that.
Okay, that's what
I did think about it.
I was curious on
I
that.
did
Okay.
think about it, but I
Um,
feel like that would be cheating.
okay, I will go first. And then on to writer. My first guess is Clue.
Which version?
That's what I was hoping wasn't going to be a thing. Greatest Detective. I don't know.
I'll give it to you. Master Detective.
Master Detective.
I would have given Clue
But-
to you anyways, but I was curious if you'd get it. So that's one for Springs.
Settlers of Catan.
Oh, and that was number 1 on the list.
Oh, number 1. Yeah.
No, writer is not on the list.
Okay. I'm curious. I'm hoping this is on the list, but I'm not too surprised if it's not. Disney Villainous.
It is number 3.
Sorry.
Sorry, writer, it is not on here.
I don't know if this is Ruby Combat Ready.
It is not on here.
Okay.
I haven't even. I haven't played enough of the game.
Yeah, we'll throw out a Monopoly. Monopoly.
That is the worst thing you could have thrown out there, writer. If we had a worst 10 board games, that would have been number 1.
Wow.
Oh, good to know.
There you go.
I don't play board games with you, so I have no basis for this. I'm
No,
just
I-
throwing
I-
shit out.
I brought up in the beginning that I think Riggs would have an advantage on this. So,
A slight. Red Dragon Inn.
that is number 5.
Jumanji?
Ooh.
That is one I have not played. It's one I would like to play. So not on here.
Another shot in the dark with this one. Cribbage.
And we wait. in
He's really
suspense.
pondering this one.
Oh, something came through?
Yeah, cribbage.
Yes.
Oh, cribbage. No. Not on
Okay.
the list.
Was a shot in the dark.
I mean, I love this game, but I know nobody here fucking plays it, so I won't bother with that one. Risk.
Not on the list.
Oh,
I suck at Risk.
I did.
It's a strategy game.
Okay,
That does.
another slight shot in the dark. Mastermind.
Honorable mention.
Okay. Drat.
One Night Werewolf.
The card game. At least I viewed it as a card game.
I would call that a card game.
So do we give Ryder a mulligan since it didn't fit the criteria?
Sure. I'll
right.
allow a
Another
go
one.
in.
And not that I'm gonna catch up or anything, but
Yeah.
Connect 4, I guess.
Oh,
4 is not on the list.
Battleship.
Nope.
Oh, crud.
Trouble.
Trouble. No, I haven't played that one. I do know there's at least 3 games on here Ryder will be able to guess. So it's not like it's impossible to get it.
Believe me, I will do my best
I know.
to not.
Yeah, my next guess, I know Crimson's talked about it, but I don't know if it was a positive or negative light. Life.
It is not on here, and
Okay.
that's kind of like a neutral game.
Okay.
Chess.
Ooh.
Number 9.
Oh. Smart answer. My list is now empty. Um, probably not, but checkers.
It's not.
Okay.
Checkers guy.
Oh, what was it called? Um, I don't remember the name of. I don't remember the name of that one, so I guess I can't guess it. Candyland.
You know what? That's a good childhood one, but it is not in the top 10.
Mm. I think I have two more guesses left in me. Othello.
No.
Okay.
No, not that one. I only played that one once.
I think I'm out, to be honest with you. As far as base board games go. Uh, Squid Game.
Dude, it's funny that you mentioned that because I do own that board game in the house. I've not played it though, and I have not even seen the show, so it is not on the list.
I forget what it's called, but it technically has a board. Um, the Shadow game, whatever. Um, Shadowcast, Cast Shadow.
I think it's Shadowcast. No, it's not.
Okay.
Even though you and I had a heck of a time playing that
Oh
game.
yeah, 4 hours and we stalemated.
I mean, I kind of won, and you rage quit.
Yeah, sure,
So.
sure, sure.
Hungry
I can
Hippos.
tell.
Oh,
Hungry hippos. No, but you just blasted me with a bunch of memories.
Yeah, I figured. It blasted me with a bunch of memories too when I came up with it.
last guest I have is Sequence.
No, that is an honorable mention.
Rabble.
Rebel. No. Good guess though.
Uh,
Any more Ryder, or are you
Uh,
dipping as well?
I mean, I could D&D. Are we counting that?
I mean, I
That's a
guess some people play with a
stretch.
board.
Yeah.
Uh, but no, I don't have it on
Okay, then let's see. Trying to think of anything else that's going on. Firefly, the board game.
I've looked into buying it, but I
No,
have
don't
not.
own it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say the Warehouse 13 board game, but I know you own it and haven't played it.
Haven't played it. Yeah,
Then yes, I think I'm out.
And I believe your castle game is a card game.
it is a card game. I mean, it's got chips on it, but I don't know if you count
No, because
chips.
I thought about Who Knew, and that's a card game.
All right. Well, Sprinks won with 3. Ryder had 1.
That's correct.
So, starting from the bottom, number 10, Locus.
Never heard of it.
Uh, you'd,
Never
you'd
heard of it.
probably recognize it if you saw it. You're like, oh, I saw that at a Goodwill or in a store before. Chess was number 9 that Ryder got. Um, number 8, which no one would have got, is Disney Dixit.
Nope.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Nope.
7 was Trivial Pursuit.
Oh, shit! I knew
Yeah,
that.
I was like, that one was fair game. I
I
think
knew that.
both of you had a chance at that. Uh, and then number 6 was Pictionary. Another one I felt had a
Okay.
good opportunity to
No,
get.
I wouldn't have been able to guess that one. True Pursuit, I might
No,
have.
Trivial
But
Pursuit. Damn.
that one hurts a little, right?
Yeah. Then 5 was Red Egg and In, which Spring got, and then number 4 was Frame It. Another
Oh,
fun
yeah.
game.
I wouldn't have remembered that one, but yeah.
Number 3, Villainous, Disney Villainous. That Spring said. Number 2, no way Ryder would have gotten it, but Sprinks might have had a chance. Picture Picture.
Oh, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking Picture Picture, not Frame It.
Ah, I see why you would.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't remember the name of it, but yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, Picture Picture number 2, and then Clue, Master Detective, specifically number 1.
Righto. All right, with that, we go on to my list. Um, so my list is valid, but it's a little different because my list there's only like 11 options.
All right.
So I'm trying to think how to do about this because if you just went back and forth, you guys would get it.
Oh, if one person gets one wrong, then the other one wins.
Essentially. But I think if I asked like get the exact number would be too hard. So I don't know how to run. So my list is what Ryder gave me, which was ranking the Captain, or I guess the caveats to help here: Captain America, Steve Rogers, MCU suits. So no John Walker, no Sam Wilson. And from what I could find, there was quote unquote 12, I guess. I'd say 11, and then there's like honorable mention ish ones. Um, but what do you guys think is fair to go about this?
I
It
would
might be better
say
for us to guess the ranking rather than like the whether they're on your list.
Okay, like there are, to me, there are 11. One is not on my list, but the other ones, if you just want to try to guess what number it's slotted to.
I'd say either guess the number or give point values to the numbers, and then put, tally up our scores.
Oh, that could work. Which one do you prefer, Ryder?
Um, I think I prefer the former.
So
Okay.
the guessing the number.
Yeah.
All right, try to
I mean,
get
you're the one doing it.
try to get the suit to the number.
All right. I guess I'll start since I haven't gone first yet.
That's true.
Well, this is gonna be an interesting one. All right. Even though it technically shows up more than once, I'm gonna go with Cap's first Avenger, like World War II getup, uh, as number one.
With the jacket and helmet.
No, with just the full suit, like without the jacket.
The SSR field uniform.
Yes, I think so.
Okay. The one on like all the posters.
Yeah,
Okay. What number do you think that is?
I said it was one.
Oh, incorrect. But it is on the list. If that helps in any way.
Oof, this is gonna be tough. Gonna go with Captain America: Winter Soldier at number 2.
The stealth
The stealthy
suit
black one.
one.
Yes.
Um,
I only remember one suit in that movie.
okay. Not number 2. No. Oh, I guess I could do that. So the first Avenger, I guess that can help. The first Avenger, where the SSR field uniform, the one Ryder gave example, I have 3 uniforms from First Avengers on my list. I have 2 from Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
only
say,
remember.
mine was specifically the one without the jacket though. The jacket over
Yes,
is,
yes,
is
yes.
that okay?
You said
Okay,
the
just making
the
sure.
yeah the SSR field uniform is the one you were talking about. There's also the World War II original field uniform, which is the one Crimson brought up.
Okay.
Anywho, stealth suit is not number 2.
Uh, Star Spangled Man, the one he wears when he's going on all the like the advertising tour.
USO Stars
I'm
and
gonna go,
Stripes.
yeah, I'm gonna go with 9.
Sorry, incorrect.
I'm gonna go with um, Infinity War Cap with being number 1.
The Battle of Wakanda. So the
Yeah.
blacked out. Not
Yep.
correct. And only have one. That's the only one from Infinity War I have on my list because I think that's the only one.
Well, why did you classify the one in Wakanda then?
I had to look up the name of these suits so it would help because there's more than just one in a movie.
Well, not that
Yeah.
one.
All right. Winter Soldier stealth uniform. I'm gonna go with the 7.
Incorrect.
Captain America: Age of Ultron, the running through the snow in the beginning.
Okay, Battle of Sokovia.
Uh,
Outfit.
Number 1.
Incorrect. At this point, since none have been made, I will now. You can now ask, or not. You can also add in if it's an odd or even number, and I will let you know if it is. That'll help,
Okay.
I guess, 50%.
Arrow didn't have.
All right. SSR uniform. We'll do number 2.
That is correct. The SSR field uniform from the first Avenger with the red straps overlapping the waist, which I think is such a cool look. Number 2.
All right.
I got one
I'm
here.
gonna go with. Oh, that one's probably the 11th one. Go with Captain America in the Avengers, not first Avenger, but the Avengers.
The Battle of New York.
Battle of New York. That's it. I think it's hideous, but it is kind of comic booky, and you do like those as homages. I'm gonna put that at 4.
Sorry, incorrect, but it is a even number.
I will go with Avengers. The one that the Battle of New York. I'm gonna go with that one to number 10.
That is correct.
I guess you agree that it's ugly then.
It's very cartoony, and he stands out like a sore thumb amongst the rest of the crowd.
It's so bright.
It is. I don't like the
rounded,
helmet.
Ugly.
The helmet is a one piece connect. Yeah, and it's very bland. It's a minimalistic look, but it looks out of place, especially with Coulson saying that little old fashioned is what we need. It doesn't look old fashioned at all.
I'm thinking like the end game Ant-Man suit is probably your number 11 is what I'm thinking. So I don't even know if I want to say that one.
The time suit. Is that what you're talking? Okay.
Yeah, so I don't even know. I'll probably avoid that one. What'd you call it? The Star Spangled Man or whatever? The stage
USO
one?
Stars and Stripes.
Yeah.
That one hasn't been assigned, right?
Nope.
Okay. What odd or even?
Oh, you don't even want to take a guess at where it's at?
Oh, I thought that was a thing to ask before.
No,
That's
you
only
You ask after, I think.
Yeah, ask after, and I can line up where it is for you.
okay. So that one at 8.
That is correct.
I'm on the board.
You're on the board.
Which one was that at? I didn't hear.
8.
Motorcycles.
That was
8?
8. Yes. The
Okay. I guess 9 on that, right?
propaganda one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Civil War. Is
The team cap suit.
I will get team cap. I will go with 3.
Incorrect. It is an even number though.
What numbers are left?
Let's see. We have number 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9.
I thought Ryder got more than that.
The Battle of New York Avengers is number 10. The Stars and Stripes uniform from First Avenger is number 8. And the SSR field uniform from First Avenger is number 2.
Okay, then the Civil War Team Cap one at number 4.
That is correct. Tied game.
Uh, Ultron. I will put that at 5, if that hasn't been guessed.
Ryder, that is also correct. The Battle of Sokovia.
Bearded Cap. Put that at. I really like that. I don't know what Springs thinks about it. Is 7 free?
Sure is.
All right, I'll put it at 7.
Sorry, incorrect, but it is an even number.
There's only one even number left.
Is that true?
So, I think so. I think.
That is true. There's only one even number left.
Yeah. So I'm like, I can steal this.
But what number?
It's at 6.
Yes, it is. Was there an answer?
It's on to you, Ryder. I mean, yes, it is number 6. That is the only even not guessed.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, that was my guess. I'll take it.
What, the one Crimson said?
Yeah.
That is correct. The Battle of Wakanda is number 6.
All right, so everything else is odd.
That's
No
true.
more hints to give.
I'm a little surprised you guys
It's
haven't gotten number 1 yet.
It would be your guess at Crimson if you want.
I don't know what caps are left. The Ultron opening, was that the same as the Sokovia one, or
Yeah.
different outfit?
No, they're
That's the same
practically identical. I just kept them the same.
one. Okay. The Winter Soldier stealth one we haven't placed yet.
Nope.
Let's put that at. Has 5 been taken?
It has.
Has 3 been taken?
Nope.
I'll put it at 3.
That is incorrect. I'm sorry.
Out of curiosity, is the second suit that he wears in Winter Soldier do you differentiate that from the SSR uniform?
Yes.
Okay. I'll do Winter Soldier cap suit then at 1.
The stealth suit or the Smithsonian Golden Age?
Smithsonian Golden Age.
No, that is not number 1. Sorry.
I don't even know what the 2 of them are.
No, they're very different.
They're very different. Yeah.
What's the stealth one?
The stealth one's
The
the
stealth
one at the
one's
beginning of the
the
movie.
black one. He's the Black Ops one.
Yeah, it's very dark navy blue and the silver look, no red whatsoever. The Smithsonian Golden Age is like the one from First Avenger without all the straps on it.
Okay, so I'll do that one at number 3.
That is correct. That's the one he fights Bucky on the helicarrier with. You are my mission! To the end of the line.
I will do field uniform with the jacket on and everything. I'll do that at what numbers have not been taken?
You have 1, 7, and 9.
I don't want to put that at 7, but yeah, I'll do 7.
That is correct.
Yeah, that's where I would have put it.
Ryder needs
what
one more to
caps are
win.
left. Beard is still out there, right?
Nope, Beard was taken. Battle of Sokovia was number 5.
What caps are left?
Well, one you've said I think 2 or 3 guesses on that still hasn't been slotted.
Yeah.
And the other
That could be
suit,
your 11.
the other suit still has not been mentioned.
I don't even remember what I've given the stealth one now. The numbers.
All right,
We'll give the
for
fourth
the
one 9.
I got this. I got this.
that is
I kind of know where I would play. I kind of know where I would place
no,
them now.
it is correct. The stealth suit is 9.
All right.
Now,
Huh.
the only way to tie this is if Ryder allowed Crimson to try to guess what number 1 is.
Why?
Because Ryder's at 5 and you're at 4 right now.
Okay. But isn't it his turn?
It is. It's his call to make.
All right. I did steal from you, so I will let you guess.
You know,
'Cause I am an honorable man,
I can't
and I
even think
can't
of.
turn that shit off even in the game.
I don't even know what other cap suits are left. We got the first 3 in the movie. Endgame, Infinity War, Civil War, Avengers. Loki's Captain America disguise. Number 1.
Sorry, that is not correct. Not even on the list.
Yeah.
Well,
I
why
will
kind of.
guess.
I mean, kind of. That's the first Avenger without the helmet on, but
I will guess Endgame for number 1.
Ryder's correct. The final battle suit is number 1. With my list consisting of number 10, Battle of New York, first Avengers, or the Avengers. Number 9, the stealth suit from Winter Soldier. I really don't like the lack of red on it. Number 8, the USO Stars and Stripes uniform, first Avenger, classic homage to the comics, but again, it's very not feasible. 7, World War II original field uniform, first Avenger. That's the whole like leather outfit with the helmet. Very cool, but not a lot going to it. Number 6, Battle of Wakanda Infinity War. Also a lot of lack of red, a lot of darks. His outfits do get darker over the edges of the movies. The beard look has actually grown on me a bit, but the outfit not the best, especially the rolled up sleeves and the leather gloves. Number 5, Battle of Sokovia, pretty cool from Age of Ultron. The arm red around the arms and then the Avenger logos on the shoulders. Pretty good, but it is a little iffy on the coloring. Number 4, Team Cap suit from Civil War. I think it's a better overall look from Age of Ultron, so it's an upgrade in that department. Number 3, the Smithsonian Golden Age suit from Winter Soldier that he fights Bucky with. I think it's a lesser version of the SSR field uniform of number 2, First Avenger. I really like the straps on it and the red straps over the side to go over the abdomen. I think really stand out, really cool. And then number 1, of course, final battle suit from Endgame with the scaling on the chest. And then
Scaling does look pretty cool.
the honorable mention, I guess, number 11 is the time suit from Endgame.
Yeah, figured.
And then the ones I
Figured
wrote
out.
down that I would not count is like the army dress uniform, the civilian attire, the hiding civilian uniform from Winter Soldier, or the training that he does at the beginning of the Avengers. I would not count any of those because those aren't essentially Captain America outfits.
But what about the Loki one?
The Loki one, as I said, is just the Avengers one without the helmet on.
I mean, that is technically different, though.
Honorable mention.
I mean, he gets his helmet
said the
ripped
bad-
off in the battle. So
Yeah, he takes it
it's
off at the
same
end.
look.
He said the bad part about it was the helmet, like the worst part.
And
about
the
it.
coloring, and it doesn't look like to the age, and he really stands out in its cartoonish colors. It's also very vibrant blue. Yeah, it's waving on the ugly side.
Okay,
Anywho,
Loki one's different. It's in a different movie.
it's
it
true,
is
and in a
completely-
different setting. It's not outside; it's inside an Asgardian temple thing. But
Well,
anyway,
for the classic wrap-up question for the
well, hold on. We got Crimson won the
alright,
first
point
one.
values.
I won the second one, and Ryder won the third one. So we all won one. So we all get 1 point.
Woo!
Did we win the ones we assigned?
I think we did. Actually, yes.
Crimson, you won the one you gave to Ryder. Yep. I won the one I gave to Crimson, and Ryder won the one he gave to me. That is true.
And we honestly, we were struggling.
Well, true. But as we can see, these all had different forms to how they went.
Yeah.
So my original pitch idea for this was kind of how I what I give to Crimson, where there's like so many options of board games, but like the number 10, so it very narrows it down. Where opposed to mine, which was there is essentially pretty much only 10. So differentiate, which I think is very good. It shows like the difference in how this game can go. Anyway, the total point system for how segment go currently standing is Ryder at 6 points, Crimson at double digits 10, Sinister at a 2, and myself at a 7.
Rex is catching up. I used to have such a lead.
Ryder's right on my tail.
Yeah, but the only way I'm catching up though is because you're usually the host for the segment. That's the only reason I'm catching
Wow.
up.
Anyway, that's been top 10ing. Let us know down in the comments how you liked it, any tweaks we can put onto it, and yeah.
Yeah. Nobody guessed Sully Stark. I'm surprised. Not really. Nobody knows who Sully Stark is for my list. She was an honorable mention.
Yeah, what movie?
She was
what
part
was
of the
in that?
jokey list.
What was in that and what we covered? Who is that?
It's Kenobi. She's the
Oh,
speeder. She's a snow speeder pilot.
So who?
got it.
Exactly.
Cool.
I don't even remember.
Exactly. That
Did
was
she
my
get hit with a
joke
tree
list. That was
branch?
no. My joke was gonna be originally I was just gonna get a bunch of background characters.
Wild. Well, cool. Unless we have any other questions, I think that's the wrap.
All right. Shall I read us out then, gentlemen?
Well, do we ask the final question? How do we think the season went?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we cut you off of it the first time. How it went? I think it was good. We had a lot of debates in this one. Murder by Death. We had the moving room, or is it a moving room? Talk. Clue was more of a debate outside the podcast about how to operate the
The endings?
Uh, so that was more off the pod, but debate nonetheless. Buck Holmes, don't think there was in the first one. Second one, we kind of did about the definition of what death is. Um, Knives Out, the
True.
whole
Yep.
Mario thing,
Yep.
Glass Onion. Um,
Feasibility.
I felt like there was a long thing. I mean, we obviously had the doc talk with Sinister on that one, and there was another thing in there.
Well, Glass Onion was the good mystery or bad with just blatantly showing you.
Oh, yeah, that's it. And then Who Done It? I guess that one didn't really have anything other than the surprise of writer's stuff, but that came out in the recap mostly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you guys are surprised in the moment, and I led a lot of prefaces in the podcast, so
It's a good assessment.
So a debate heavy season. I enjoyed it. I got a lot of good scores in there. I mean, I got a 9 out of it. I'm
pretty
glad I got
consistent
to
this
show you
season.
guys Who Done It, and I got to show Writer Murder by Death. Happy to get those out there.
Good.
Nice.
Good. Bookends.
I enjoyed the season as well. I had a lot of fun. I love the genre. It's a very, very hard genre to write for. It's not easy. So I enjoyed it though.
I enjoyed it as well. Seeing stuff I have not seen before to add to my repertoire.
Murder by
Yeah.
Death is
Gotta go
my
update your letterbox. I can't imagine what that's like.
It's something.
Murder by
But
Death has been on my podcast to show list since we started the podcast. So it only took a couple years to get to it.
24 seasons.
There it is.
all right. Shall I read us out, gentlemen?
I think so.
All right. Well, audience, thank you for listening, whether it be Spotify, Amazon, Castbox, Good Pods, iHeartRadio Podcasts, and Samsung. And if it be on visual side of things, be it YouTube or Rumble, thank you for watching and listening there watching our PNGTuber slideshow. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe everywhere. Tell us how much you hate our opinions or how much you love them. And as always, I've been Ikiki Writer.
Even with my lows here, I'll return next week. I'm Crimson.
Interesting. And I'm Sprinks.
And we will catch you next time. Later, everybody.
Bye.
Toodaloo.